Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Will County Board meeting for December 21st, 2023. We're calling this meeting to order. Board member Dean Schlottman will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and introduce the clergy.
Attention to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would like to remain standing, I'm just going to give a short prayer. Join me if you will. Father God in heaven, I thank you for today. I ask for guidance for all the elected members of this board. I pray that the decisions we make are made with the needs of Will County and its citizens' best interests. Father God, let all of us be reminded that we have more that unites us than divides us. Guide us to treat all people with dignity and respect. Lastly, Father, I pray for the health and safety of everyone here with us today. I pray all this as your humble servant. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Oh. Okay, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Balich. Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Coleman. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Costa. Ogala.
With 18 present, we have a quorum. I need a motion to place on file certificate of publication. Motion by Freeman, seconded by Ortiz. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Ogala.
18 in the affirmative, the motion carries. Now need a motion to approve the recessed minutes from November 16th, 2023. Motion by Mueller, seconded by Balich. Previous roll call by Van Dyne, second by Winfrey. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, will you please acknowledge the elected officials and media present today?
Today we have County Executive Jennifer Bertino Tarrant, County Clerk Lauren Staley Ferry, Coroner Lori Summers, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, and I don't see any media present.
Thank you very much. We are now going to move on to proclamations. We have a very special day today to recognize Beth Adams on her retirement. Chair Ogala, I believe, is coming up with leadership to present the proclamation. And just a reminder, we do a motion a second, and then we'll do discussion if anyone has any comments to make. All right.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We have a very special proclamation today here that makes Beth extremely happy and me very sad. Recognizing Beth Adams on her retirement as Operations Manager of the Will County Board. Whereas Beth Adams has dedicated her professional life to the service of the people of Will County. She began her career in 1999 in the purchasing department and then moved to the county board office in 2001. She became operations manager of the Will County Board in 2013. And whereas Beth Adams has gracefully navigated the ever-changing county board, and whereas Beth Adams has become known for supporting county staff and board members with their vast knowledge and retention of county history, and whereas Beth Adams has played an integral role in the day-to-day operations as has been instrumental in the advancement and success of the Will County Board. And whereas Beth Adams led the county board into the electronic era with the implementation of the county's Minitrack system. And whereas Beth Adams went above and beyond in leading Will County Board through the COVID-19 pandemic with the implementation and management of virtual meetings. And whereas the county board members, staff, and many others will miss her leadership, knowledge, and positive presence. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby recognize Beth Adams for 24 years of dedicated service to the County of Will and the people of Will County through her leadership and dedication to excellence. Be it further proclaimed that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive wish her a long, healthy, and happy retirement. Dated this 21st day of December 2023. Jennifer Bertino Tarrant, attested to by Lawrence Daly Ferry Clerk. And I so move.
Motion by Ogala, seconded by Trenier. Is there any discussion?
Any discussion?
Is there-
Please don't leave. Yes, I like that.
Would you like to say something?
I've been on the board for 13 years now, and I've worked with Beth for most all of them. And Beth's been a very hard worker. She always stuck up for no matter what side of the aisle it was. She always did everything exactly like it should be. I'm very proud to have worked with her because kind of sometimes I get out of hand, and she would, kind of straighten me out a little bit. So that's she's a good person. We're going to really miss her. With that, God bless you.
Thank you very much.
She's going to need a little more wall space.
Yeah, I know.
You want to get in front for a picture, Jack? You want to say anything? Okay, go ahead. You want to say something, Beth?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you. I don't like being on this side. I like being behind the scenes, making sure everything runs well. I can't believe it's been 24 years. It doesn't seem like it. I've enjoyed it. I've always felt that, I work for the county board, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, and I felt that my job was to do the best I could to make you be able to do the best you could. And I hope I've succeeded at that. I wish you all well in the future. I am going to enjoy retirement. I've got grandkids to hang out with and places to go. We've got family from one coast to the other and plenty in between, so we'll hopefully be taking some trips in that, but I will miss you all. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Beth.
So while they're taking a picture, we have a previous roll call by Balich, seconded by Van Dyne. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So at this time, we're going to allow Beth's family to vacate so they can help celebrate with her family. So we're going to take a brief recess. Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. We will be recessed for All right. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for your patience. We're going to add Janet Diaz to the roll. At this time, we are going to invite any public comment for today's agenda items. Are there anyone here to speak on today's agenda? And we're going to also add Raquel Mitchell to the roll. Anyone here speaking on today's agenda items? This is not necessarily any of the land use cases. You will have another opportunity for land use cases. Any general public comment? All right. You can come right up here. Yep. When you come up, if you'll just please state your name. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Will County Board, my name is Kurt Mason. I am a trustee for the Village of Homer Glen. And I just wanted to thank the board and taking the opportunity to possibly transfer the jurisdiction of Parker Road, along with Shy Bloom and the Hadley Road and the Bloomington Trail. We appreciate the opportunity to continue to keep our historic value, our rural, rustic area. And I just wanted to really thank the board for taking this under consideration. Thank you.
My name is Andy Pinelli. I'm the president of the Boarwoods Homeowners Association in the Village of Homer Glen. Thank you, Kurt, for your comments. The subject is a jurisdictional transfer of Parker Hadley and Chicago Bloomington roads. I'm representing members of our homeowners association who would be harmed economically if the county proceeded with plans that had been suggested for road improvements on those roads. Our HOA board is also concerned that what this would do to our subdivision entranceway that borders on Hadley Road. As well, we're concerned that road improvements, of what those road improvements would do to kind of the country road aesthetic of our neighborhoods there that border along the road. Which is so important to the people that live there. So we're asking today for the Will County Board to do what it can to promote a speedy jurisdictional transfer of those roads to the Village of Homer Glen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sue Maloney. I'm a resident of Homer Glen Village. I actually live on Hadley Road, the road that is going to be greatly impacted by this project, this road improvement widening if it occurs. I'm asking you to please vote to transfer the jurisdiction to Homer Glen Village, who I believe will do what's best for us residents. My property alone, I would lose at least 75 trees, including all the land up to probably within 8 feet of my home. We would also most likely lose our subdivision entrance. And I'm just one of 200 homes that would be impacted. So Hadley Road is a country road, and it should stay that way. And let's let the village take care of that road. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a few emailed public comments. We're reading the ones only sent to County Board.
Terry and Annette Robbins. We writing to urge you to not approve the zoning variances S23053, V23128, V23145, V23144, and V23129 for 2423 Helmar Lane, because they are all single-family residential lots in this subdivision. We moved here 35 years ago because of the large single lots. I am concerned if this is allowed, Homeowners in the area may consider doing this if the zoning is changed and these variances are allowed. We don't want the makeup of neighborhood changed. Crystal Lawns Additions is located in Plainfield Township, not the city of Joliet. Every house is on a septic system, not city sewer. My concerns are the septic systems. 2423 Helmar Lane was designed for a single-family residence. We're also on a community well system, Crystal Lawns Addition Improvement Association, that was not designed to support multifamily housing. Another concern is that in our neighborhood, there are many of us who walk, run, and bike. As we are in an unincorporated area, there are no sidewalks. We have to walk on the side of the road. If this is passed, it will increase traffic flow, thereby endangering the safety of the people in our neighborhood. If this project is approved, it would most likely lead to additional variances being granted and changing zoning of our single-family R3 current zoning to allow for additional multi-unit lots. We are urging you to vote no at the December 21st meeting to above zoning variances for the above reasons to preserve our neighborhood. Dave Ebert. Case ZC 23091. I am opposed on the approval of a special use permit for a solar energy facility at Coos Road and 104th in Green Garden Township. Solar energy facilities do not belong in such close proximity to existing residential properties, nor do they belong in areas that are planned for future residential use in a community's comprehensive plan. Both Green Garden Township and Frankfort have indicated that this area is planned for residential use. Both of these communities have industrial and commercial sites that would be better suited for a solar energy facility. The residents of Green Garden Township have made it clear that this use would be detrimental to their health, safety, comfort, and general welfare. This use would diminish property values and it would impede the normal development and improvement of surrounding property. The conditions for a special use permit have not been met, and therefore a special use permit should be approved for this solar energy facility. It's time for the officials who have been elected to represent the citizens of this county to listen to those citizens and take a stand, to represent us rather than the interests of the companies that do not have a home here and are only interested in how much money they can make. I urge you to vote to deny this application for a special use. Larry Callens. Opposed to attempts to add large solar energy panels to Green Garden, residential, agricultural, and non-commercial areas. Lived here since 1987. Live here with desire for rural settings on large lot, free of close-by commercial entities nearby. They have their place, but not here. Concerns of soil contamination and disposal of expired batteries and equipment, declining property values. Please vote these attempts to place solar fields here. Barbara Rizzo. Please stop the approval of proposed solar sites in Green Garden Township. The loss of agricultural lands will only be damaging to this township. The benefits of these proposed sites only create wealth for non-residents proposing them and will leave wastelands for our township in the future. Janet Bender. Good morning, my name is Janet Bender. My husband and I lived on Stunkel Road in Green Garden for over 20 years. We moved here for the rural, quiet, open spaces and farm environment and would very much like it to stay that way. I'm asking you to vote no to the solar farm proposal on Coos Road for the following reasons. Solar farms have no place in residential areas and are not in compliance with the Green Garden Comprehensive Plan. I'm concerned for the health and safety with not only for myself and my husband, but also for my grandchildren who would be exposed to the potential contamination of our soil and water. I also have horses and grown hay on my property. They would be affected as well. The solar farms are an eyesore and will devalue our property. I'm concerned about the safety of our environment and the protection of the wetlands and wildlife in the proposed area. Please vote no and require solar farm companies to build in compliance with our comprehensive plan. Dana Lally. This comment is in regard to the multiple solar farms being planned for Green Garden Township in Will County. I currently live at Center Road in Pauling in Green Garden Township. We are in agreement that these proposed sites within our township will cause multiple concerns to our land, water source, home value, visual aesthetics, and overall quality of living. As 17-year residents, we are voicing our concerns in this format, going on record that we fully object to any proposed solar farms within the Green Garden or surrounding townships, as it will be detrimental to our existing quality of life and home value. Marty Prunski. My husband and I have lived in Green Garden Township since 1984. We are adjacent to the Coos Road site, 650 feet away. Our property has livestock, hay, family residence, raised our adult son from birth here. We enjoy country peace, quiet, fresh air. The fire departments aren't equipped for solar fires. Our roads can't carry construction trucks, and it's unknown on what the solar panels put into atmosphere we breathe. We vote no on all solar fields in Green Garden, especially Coos Road, 650 feet from my home. This is the same person. Ed and Marty Prunski. As homeowners in Green Garden Township since 1984-85, my husband and I have worked very hard for our property. We've kept our property groomed, buildings kept up, raised our son from birth to adulthood on our 5 acres. At times, we have had assorted livestock and pastures across from the proposed solar field. Our property sits directly across the street from Coos Road on 104th Avenue. Our address, 104th Avenue, Frankfurt. We raise 3 acres and hay for livestock. There is no way to know if our crops can be contaminated from this solar field. We are outside a lot and have our windows open all summer. These panels will be 650 feet from my house. There are 2 product pipelines running through this site also. Both are active working lines that are inspected regularly. There are high voltage lines that run behind this field. Who will ensure these pipelines are not going to be affected? This unsightly, ugly, noisy solar field development, fenced like a prison, absolutely does not belong in residential and agricultural areas. No amount of bushes or shrubs will hide it. Our roads are not made for constant heavy construction trucks. We do not have fire departments trained for solar fires or proper chemicals to douse them. We have no fire hydrants on 104th at all. The township has a development plan that everyone needs to follow. As longtime landowners, we vote no to any solar field development in Green Garden Township, Frankfurt Township, or any area that adjoins the borders of Green Garden or Frankfurt. Marcy Cosgrove. Good morning. We are trying to build a family home on our son's property. We'd like to be there for our children and grandchildren. We did try looking for a home to buy near his family. However, with the limited homes on the market and high interest rates, we decided to build on their garage. How many 26-year-olds actually want their parents living so close? We feel blessed that we have a close relationship with our children. The neighbor directly next door has an ADU, and that's what gave us the idea. However, we found out that she's fighting us on this. The only reason I think of is that she doesn't want us to have one because she wants to be the only home on the street with an ADU. She told us that she was moving in 2 years, this was last year, to be closer to her daughter. We're really surprised at the effort she is putting into this situation, knocking on doors, putting letters in people's mailboxes, and posting false information about this online, trying to get people to back her up. The ADU we'd like to build will not even be close to her property. She told me build an addition on the house, not the garage, because she doesn't want us to have an ADU. The house is much closer to her property. We have talked to the neighbors, and the ones that would be directly in front and back of the addition are on board and fully support us. We spoke to many other neighbors that also agree with the ADU. If the garage was attached to the house, we wouldn't have to go through all this. There are other homes in Crystal Lawns that have ADUs as well. This is becoming a more desirable way of living for families. We have been approved by the Will County Health Department to replace the septic. We have followed all the steps and rules to get this done. Please let us build our forever home. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to old business, all resolutions and ordinances from the November 16th, 2023 board meeting have been signed and returned. There's no new business, so we'll move on to Land Use and Development Committee Chair Pretzel.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Revis. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. Yes. Trainier. Yes. Dean Schlottman. Yes. Van Dyne. Yes. Pretzel.
Yes.
Butler. Yes. Newquist. Yes. Richmond. Yes. Parker. Yes. Williams. Yes. Diaz. Winfrey. Yes. Logan. Yes. Freeman. Yes. Revis. Yes. Mitchell. Yes. Ortiz. Yes. Berkowitz. Yes. Mueller. Yes. Ogalla.
We are now in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. So at this time, if anyone would like to speak on a land use issue, you can please come forward now. We're going to ask that you please try to keep it concise. Please state your name and the case you are referencing as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of zoning case ZC-23-089, appeal number APCD-23-006, and on the agenda is 23-397, dealing with the variances.
You're fine, just so they know what you're referencing.
Okay,
They're
sounds
fine,
good.
you're all good. And
Yeah.
state your name.
Yep. So I'm Eric Walgorski. I'm a resident of 2428 Helmar Lane, and I do not want the variances to be passed. I think they should be opposed for 3 reasons. One is water supply. I'm concerned the water supply we greatly affect our water supply as our wells are drying out and approving multi-bathroom houses in an unincorporated community with well will dry our wells out. I'm also concerned that we already have heavy flooding and that we'll have more flooding and that will lead to more outages. As a result, for the water, in November, we had 2 times the water's been out. We'll cross the 5 wells. So one was an our well, well 5, November 30th, 2023, and then November 21st, 2023 was a second well that was out. So I'm just worried about stress on the water supply. My second concern is parking. Right now, the Will County ordinances has a limit of 5 cars maximum outside residences. Currently, the applicant has 3. My concern is moving 3 people into the resulting lot will go over the maximum, and will have to lead to parking on the street. And the reason that's the problem is because our streets are very thin. They're not super wide. When there's 2 people parking on the street, like on both sides, it can be really tight to drive through. So we just don't have room for like off-street parking. And then my third concern is just that that we shouldn't allow variances for an ADU to be much bigger than a single-family house. It's supposed to be a smaller secondary unit. It shouldn't be allowed to be much bigger. Because it seems like it's just like a way to circumvent the single-family housing zoning in our community. And so I think the ADU should be 650 feet. It should not be over 2,000 feet. Or yeah, and then the additions that I've seen, again, they're like smaller. They're not like over 2 stories. They're not over like the 20 feet requirements. So yeah, I just don't feel like that should be allowed. I think we should keep with the rules that we have with development and the issues with water and parking. And then, yeah, I don't know if I should. I mean, I brought an example of an addition that kind of, I don't know if I should put into the, yeah, so. Both the garage and the house is like 1 story, and it's like much smaller than what they're describing. And so this is an example addition, but it's like, as you can see, it's like much smaller, and there's not even a bathroom in it. It's just like 2 bedrooms and a kitchen. So it's like much smaller than what the applicants are proposing. So it's not relevant to the addition that they're proposing. Yeah, I think that's it I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Kelly Carl, and I live at 2425 Helmar. I am the person in the statement that was read for Marcy Cosgrove, and just want to take a moment of your time to clarify some things. I've been a resident and citizen of Will County basically my entire life, unincorporated. I feel that my husband and I are stewards of the land, and one day it will pass along, but during the time that we have it, I feel a responsibility to not only myself, but also to my neighbors. When the zoning, or when the sign went up, and it was not probably in the front yard, it was up near the house, neighbors reached out to me because I live next door. Therefore, I feel responsible to have a conversation, to read and follow up and be a neighbor to these folks. As far as the structure that they're referencing as an ADU, when my husband and I purchased our home in 2001, it had a building behind a very poorly built garage that was done many, many years prior. with concrete that was in between the building that the previous homeowner used as a wood shop. And the garage had to come down. Literally, after taking the siding off the garage, it fell into the dumpster after 3 studs came out. But we also applied for permits in 2004, July 6th, and the final certificate inspection happened on May 15th of 2005. It is a garage. I had sent pictures into Vince, Nicole, and sent it also to Jennifer Bertino's office. We, at the time, had to get a variance for the setback to go from 10 feet to 5 feet. And if any of the neighbors back then opposed to that, it would not have been allowed. And we would have had to set it back 10 feet in order to rebuild the garage. There was no excavation done, as there was concrete already there, and the land slopes in that area from the north to the south and from the east to the west. And we are east facing. Our contractor at the time had suggested that we take advantage of the 20-foot variance for height, as we live on a high water table. And we do not have a basement. We have a sump pump that is in a crawl that will run and will run nonstop during heavy rains. And the idea of having a walkable attic actually was great and has come in handy as my husband and I age. As far as the comment that we're moving, I don't know when we'll move or if we'll ever move. My daughter just bought a condo in the city yesterday, and we're empty nesters. Even still, we're still stewards of our property and being good citizens. Neither Michael Petrowski or Marcy has ever been in our garage. And honestly, our property has been misrepresented in the original report. And my husband and I actually take great offense to this, because all we ever did was try to rebuild a garage that was not going to fall down, and for the safety of our own child and our friends and family that visit. As far as the septic system, and stated in a packet on November 7th, they stated for this ADU, they will have to have its own septic system since they cannot hook into the existing septic field. There currently, there is lines at that house, and the only reason why I know is we actually owned that house in 2017 to 2018, but our daughter did not want to live there and wanted to stay in the city and rent. So I know that there's septic lines at 2423 in the backyard and that run along the north side of the house and into the front yard. Our septic has the same setup, because in the event of a heavy rain and the water flowing from the north to the south and the east to the west, I had sent pictures in along with my email regarding that literally show the house across the street that and my neighbors actually who live there refer to the Lamb Key Castle, because it is surrounded by a moat and the water rushes across. The township has taken great pains for Plainfield to redo all the drainage from the street to keep the water off the street. This has been an ongoing process, and I also included that in my email as well. That was sent. And I have copies of everything if somebody would like to take a peek. In the zoning meeting, they had stated that they now want 2.5 units per half acre in Will County. I just wonder if this takes into consideration areas that have a high water table, that are already developed, and are on septic with a community well. And if something adverse happens, who do we turn to? And I think that's the main concern. This is not a personal thing against Mr. Petrowski or Mrs. Cosgrove. This is about our community and the neighborhood and the residents of that neighborhood. I'm not one to spread misinformation. Anything that was discussed is public knowledge within the board's website, and the many pieces of paper, amendments that have been made to the original request of this to build a storage and rec space behind their garage, which has now bloomed into wanting an ADU that's 3 times the size of a 650 square foot ADU. Even more concerning is that Michael Petrowski on November 30th approached my husband in the dark as he was leaving for work and told us that we should leave this matter alone. My husband was obviously very upset about this, and I guess as a citizen, I'm just heartened. And as a neighbor, I'm disheartened by this. I'm not even angry about it. But at the same point, I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody. I was a Girl Scout leader for many years to empower girls to have a voice. I've been involved in my community for many years as athletic booster vice president. I care about Plainfield Township, Plainfield, and unincorporated Will County and my neighborhood. I thank you for your time. I don't know if anybody would like my large packet.
You can leave it here. We'll put it in the record.
Okay.
Good morning, board members. My name is Eugene Furlane, and this is regarding case ZC 238089, which is at 2423 Helmar Lane, and that's in Joliet. I live at the property on the south exposure, which is 2421 Helmar Lane. I've lived at that location for over 50 years. We're in the Crystal Lawns Addition subdivision. We are on septic systems. The current plan at 2423 Helmar involves the expansion of an existing detached garage from 910 square feet to 3,484 square feet. Now that garage is larger than my house with an attached garage. The planned occupancy is for 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, a kitchen, 2 baths. So it's going to be a second home on a single lot. This is not according to our local zoning regulations and the rest of our community that adhere to those regulations. Like I said, we are on a septic system, and when the subdivision was originally set out, it was set out with large lots to accommodate septics. If we add another septic, another house with similar output as far as waste, there's a very good chance that the septic field will become saturated and could overflow and leach into the adjacent properties, including my own. So, you know, the zoning should be adhered to as single family only. And with that, I think that's all I wanted to say, and I really appreciate your hearing me. And please stay with the current zoning regulations, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Piotrowski. I'm the owner of the house. This is my mother who plans on moving in. And I would like to state my reasons why. So I know the biggest issue was the water. I actually have on my phone, Will County came out, looked at it, approved the water. I have it right here. They were able to see that you could add 2 bathrooms because we're redoing everything. The whole system's getting done. We contacted a company that is approved by Will County for the septic called R&R Septic. They sent us an invoice that is almost $30,000 to get redone, that we're paying to get the whole system redone, so it's safe for everyone. I don't want my house to flood either. My house flooded probably 2 weeks after I bought it, the same system, same problem. We get heavy rain, my sump pump runs constantly. It was older, it went out, I had to buy a new one. I actually have 2 sump pumps in my house. Regarding the permit for the size, I know everyone freaked out about that. So a permit for an ADU 650 square foot is a regular ADU permit. If you want a special ADU, which we applied for, it's 651 plus. So say I want a shed and it's 700 square foot, I would still have to apply for the special ADU rezoning permit because it's over 650 square foot. And that's why it said like 650 to like 3,000 something. The house is nowhere near close to 3,000 something square foot, not even close. It came looked at. Regarding the sign, I didn't know that was a big deal. Will County came out and looked at the sign and said it was okay. They actually took pictures of the sign up. I guess that was a big issue. Parking, my driveway is like 144 feet long, and almost everyone there now would be able to park easy. I don't even know why that's an issue. Every car could fit, plus 4 more cars. And if you've driven around Crystal Lawns, there's a lot of people that just pull up and leave the car on the grass, the curb, anywhere. We would not be in the street at all. And regarding the single-family home, there's multiple rental properties in Crystal Lawns. I don't know why that was never fought, but there's multiple rental properties I have here if people want to pass them around. They're on Von Ness Road, and you can clearly see on the mailbox, they have north and south regarding 2-unit rental properties. There's another one here that is regarded A and B. And next to those, in the Crystal Lawns neighborhood is a tree company. That's just part of unincorporated, I feel like. And I have just multiple. I mean, that's kind of how it's going to look just with a covered deck. This is another house that's all in Crystal Lawns. I just have, if people want to see or pass around, a lot of people put additions in Crystal Lawns. People like the area. And if it was attached to the house, none of this would be an issue. If the garage was attached, none of this would be an issue. So we've been doing everything by the book, and we've been dealing with this for a long time. Regarding talking to my neighbor, I did go ask him. I said, hey, what is going on? Can we talk about this? If it's not personal, I felt personally attacked because rumors have been spread. I've seen her going up and down neighborhoods. I don't know really what the big issue is. I don't know many people that want to have their parents live with them. And like I said, we're doing everything by the book. And I really don't know what else to say, if you have anything.
Yeah, I'm Marcy Cosgrove. I'm Michael's mom. I'm going to be the one building the addition on top of the garage. And as far as Kelly owning the house priorly, she knows that we cannot build an addition onto the house because of the septic. So our only other option is to actually build it on top of the garage and out back. It's not going to be 3,000 square feet. It's part of the porch and the overhang, as I discussed at the last meeting. And we have gone and knocked on all the neighbors' doors and spoke to them. And if they saw a sign out front that they weren't sure about, I don't think they would go to Kelly. They would have came to us and asked, because we did go and speak to them. We will have proper drainage because none of us want to have a flood. And as far as water resources and running out of water, we practically live in the house now, just with less of the bathrooms. So it's going to be the same amount of water usage and same amount of water and waste. So that's not changing. We're just improving it by doubling the septic and spending almost $30,000 to get this done. This is not going to be some like propped up little house. We're trying to build our forever home, and we want it to be safe for all.
And we've talked with Owen about the drainage already because he had some questions.
So you've already spoken. You've already spoken.
Okay.
Yep. Good.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay.
Do you have a clarification question? Okay. Yeah.
Here, I know you guys mentioned you're doing the septic, but it also says from the Will County Health Department, if they want to go through with this, they will have to get a soil evaluation that will determine the size of the field. Was that included?
Already been done.
Already done. Yep.
Thank you.
Are these questions that we can answer during the discussion, or do you have a question for these folks? Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to understand, the footprint of the garage, does it change?
No.
So the actual footprint on the foundation does not change, and that the only grading that's going to be done, that's going to be possibly changed, is the extension of the septic field, which is obviously going to be brought to whatever the grade was that was approved by the county.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, we couldn't even be here if Will County didn't approve all this and the health department didn't come out there. If the soil wasn't evaluated, I would think that everyone know that we can't even come here if that wasn't done. They wouldn't even let us.
I just
through.
wanted to clarify that no elevations are being changed or anything like that, so
No,
people
just what you
understand.
see is what we're doing.
So everyone understands
Absolutely.
that that's not being changed.
No, we are building up and a little bump out in the back. That's the 600 square feet that we were already approved for.
Thank you. Member Berkowitz, a clarifying question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you mentioned that you practically live here.
Mhm.
So I have a question about that. How many people live in the existing house today?
Currently,
Currently?
5. My grandpa moved in back in October.
And
Five.
we are there over
And
there.
that
I have 2
includes-
sons, I have 2 little boys. So me, my wife, my 2 boys, and my grandpa.
Okay, so you don't live there yet?
On the weekends, I come there and stay because we're kind of in between homes. We
Okay.
sold our house to build this.
So there's 5 people in the house, and then when you build the ADU,
2 people,
2 more will be in the ADU.
2 in addition to the 5,
so 7 total.
7 total.
And we have 7 total
And
there on
that,
the weekends.
and that's
Me and my
you plus 1, okay. So you also stated that you're completely redoing the septic, and I'm assuming septic, drain field, completely
everything, yes.
redoing it. So if you're completely redoing it, why were you not able to just put the addition onto the house? Because you're completely redoing it.
Right, because we want to have it set back. If we did it in our back, they're not gonna when I wanna put our addition, it'll be right next to Kelly's.
So you
neighbor's
have a choice, and your choice
no,
was to
No,
put
we
it
applied
on.
for it on the
to do
ADU.
that,
We
yeah.
applied for the
We
ADU.
applied for that.
Okay, so your choice is you want a separate
Yes, 'cause
unit
that's what
that
we've
is
seen
not
around the
connected to the
neighborhood.
house.
Yes.
And to redo that septic over, we're redoing it to connect it to the garage to the house. Okay, so
Okay.
that's how we're redoing the
So
septic.
there's a community well,
Mhm.
it was stated, there's a community well.
There is.
You will have 1 drain field or 2 drain fields?
It'll all be one. They're gonna connect it. We're getting, I think we're going from,
2000 tank.
there's 2,000 or 3,600 gallons.
So I guess I would like staff to just clarify whether or not,
We'll do that during the regular meeting.
okay, regarding the drain field, because that's a very important issue. When we
Yeah, and that's
purchased
like
a
I said-
house.
We don't want to flood either.
The drain
Yeah.
field was
That was the first thing
corrupted,
we
and
had
it
to
had
do.
to be completely redone. And when you add additional people onto the property, that creates a greater use.
Right.
And and I'm not seeing that
Okay,
here.
now we're just getting into a discussion. We're done here. Thank
Okay.
you very much. That's, you're just.
Yeah, one
now-
quick, what other,
Yeah.
quick- I see a very large tree next to where you're, and it looks like that tree may be on the neighbor's property.
That's
and-
100% my property, and the tree's not even being affected.
If we build the addition
Yeah.
on the back of the house, we won't have a backyard to live
The
in, or to
tr-
play in for the kids. So that's why we're not doing it there. We're doing it on the garage. We don't want to lose the backyard space.
And
We won't
from
use
just
backyard
around the
space.
neighborhood, there's multiple big ADUs.
I mean, just for
That's
our
right there,
purpose,
yeah.
we want to still have a backyard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Nick Chapman, and I'm a resident of Green Garden Township, and I'm here today in opposition to the proposed solar farm on 104th Avenue and Coos Road. Number 1 on your agenda, case ZC 23091. So I'm going to try to be efficient here. I want to use my time today to make 2 important points regarding this and other similar proposals. First, I just want to address the end-of-life issues that are still largely unresolved and unknown, even among leading environmentalists. We simply don't know what's going to happen to these solar fields in 25 years. And I have a question for those of you that are here today representing your communities. How many of you are currently fighting to clean up brownfield sites in your districts? I'd also like to ask how many of you think, how many of these proposed sites are going to become brownfield sites in 25 years, either through negligence or irresponsibility. That number is not zero. Okay, so what is an acceptable number of brownfield sites to create through these proposals? Judging by what we have learned by the company here today that is proposing this site, voting yes for this proposal is very likely signing off on a new brownfield site that our children are going to have to clean up in 25 years. So just want to make that point. The second point I want to make is on the estimated impact on property values. And just give me one moment. Put that there as a visual as I talk through this. You may not be able to see that at home, but recently in 2023, there was a study of 1.8 million home sales within 2 miles of solar farms located in 6 different states. 1.8 million homes, 6 different states. Overall, researchers found a measurable decrease in property values located within 1 mile of solar farms of less than 35 acres. This proposed site is 70 acres, twice the size of what was studied. While there is no discernible impacts found in states of California, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, no decrease in property values in those states. The effects on property values clearly exist, as quoted in their study, clearly exist in Minnesota, North Carolina, and New Jersey. So specifically in rural communities that abut urban and suburban communities, much like Green Garden Township and unincorporated Frankfort. So I will leave it to your imagination to decide which of those 6 states most resembles the characteristics of our community here in Will County. But in Minnesota, homes within a half mile saw a decrease of 4%, and homes within 1 mile saw observable decreases of 2%. So regarding this proposal, there are 40 homes within a half mile of this site. There are 725 homes within 1 mile of this site. Okay? So if I use excuse me one second. So if I use the median home value of those properties, right, and I extrapolate that number, this is going to represent a decrease of over $6.5 million in property values, local property values. That is over $9,000 per home, okay, evaporated. So please understand that in this particular instance with this proposal, a yes vote today is taking money out of your constituents' pockets and more likely than not, creating new brownfield sites to clean up. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sir, can you take you want to take your visual aid? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Dunn. I'm here to speak about the proposed Q solar facility, case -901. 091, sorry. Let me just read my statement here. We cannot look forward to Surrey Powered being responsible stakeholders in our community with the lack of communication, transparency, and planning they continue to demonstrate. Surrey Power never presented this proposal to Green Garden Township. They continued to ignore the township's comprehensive land use plan. Reading the staff report of Will County Planning and Zoning Commission, they have ignored questions asked by the township's highway commissioner. At the land use and development meeting, they did respond to this same comment, saying that they had reached out to the commissioner. What they didn't say is that the commissioner responded with additional questions to them, which per the staff report, Surrey Powered has not responded to since August 25th. You can find that on page 15th of the staff report. I also have issues with their emergency services plan. The proposal states, this emergency plan provides a comprehensive approach to responding to emergencies that may occur during the operation of the Q solar farm installation. Written under inverter fire event in bullet number 1, and I quote, if smoke or fire exists, procure a fire extinguisher, unquote. Just to note, Ace Hardware in Frankfort, it's a 7-minute drive to procure a fire extinguisher. Surrey Power states that the Q's location is favorable because of its shared location to ComEd high power lines that run through it. As stated from previous proposals, ComEd will supply interconnect to 12,000 volt power lines running along South 104th Street. High tension power lines, typically 135,000 to 345,000 volts, have no connection capability or purpose for this project. Regarding the question of declining home values near solar facilities, it was up here. The 2020 study by the University of Rhode Island found that when a farm or forest is developed into solar, researchers found that housing prices within a mile of the solar installation declined by 5%. Another study in June 2022 by the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory showed that significant differences in property values were observed for homes near solar farm sites previously used for agriculture, an average 3% decrease. But for less formal, but maybe a more accurate survey, ask the people sitting around you right now, look left and look right, and ask them if they would like to purchase a home next to a solar facility. The final point I would like to make is about the land itself. Minerals deposited by glaciers and subsequent prairie growth for thousands of years have blessed Illinois with some of the world's most fertile topsoil. The Hughes Road site is listed as essential farmland with a score of 236 out of 300. Please leave prime and essential farmlands remain what they are. I understand the need for alternative energy sources, but they need to be in a suitable location. The township's land use plan, while not expressly identifying solar facilities, does provide commercial and industrial areas where projects like this are better suited. Thank you for your time, and please vote no.
Good morning. I also am here to talk have a couple concerns and one question in regards to the zoning case ZC 23091, the Coos Road Solar Facility.
Please state your name.
Katie Ressler. I am a resident of Green Garden. The question I have is, they're proposing to come into a residential area. Do they have to abide by the same regulations and rules as us residents? And I know for those of you that were at the land use department or the land use meeting, I had a similar question. My septic system, I have to have a permit and I have to have a bonded contractor with your department, and I have to have you guys send out the Will County Health Department and make sure that my septic system, when it discharges the water back into my property, that it's safe, not just for my family, but for my neighbors, for all of the entire wildlife. Do they have to do the same thing, or do I have to wait to find out 10, 15, 20 years that the soil and the water table has been contaminated by these solar panels and somebody's going to get sick? The concern I also have in their report of their own report on the standard solar agricultural impact mitigation agreement that they have on page 11 of 12 of 4.2G, they say on there on number 4, when they are deconstructing this and decommissioning it, that some of the underground cables at the depths of 5 feet or greater may be left in place. So that means if anything there that's left over, the next person, when they're done with it, is now cleaning up their garbage that's left behind. That isn't right for the residents, for future growth. And there's a lot of future growth going on within the Green Garden Township. Please consider that and vote no. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mark Sarkeesian, and I'm the planner for Green Garden. I stand here, I want to make 3 admissions and 1 promise. First of all, I admit that I care deeply about my hometown and my residents. Second, while I'm a degreed engineer from University of Michigan and retired after 31 years in the technical field, I'm not a solar expert. So I don't know what's in the panels. Lots of concerns, but I don't know. But as the planner, I promise to give my residents the opportunity to have this review. We'll use our beautiful historic town hall. It's safe. We don't have to drive to Joliet. Nothing against Joliet, but we wouldn't have to drive there. It's close, it's safe, it's cheaper. But the applicants continue to deny that for us. So I can't make my promise. I also admit that I almost fell for for not coming here today, because I know that the applicant approached staff and wanted to postpone today. Thank God I didn't advise everybody and save them a trip to come here, because here we are again. And then that leads to my promise. As the Green Garden planner, I promise that you'll see me here early next year in support of a solar farm in Green Garden, which is consistent with our plan. They're meeting with us, they're answering questions. I also promise to be here every time another outsider comes in trying to use the federal and state grants and deny us the opportunity to have the review. So happy holidays. Those are my admissions and promises.
Good morning, Will County Board members and members of the public. Thank you for your time today. My name is Akshar. I am the Project Development Manager for the Q Solar Farm. This would be zoning case ZC 23091. We're here today requesting ZC 23091 be postponed and heard at the next Will County Board meeting. We're still considering the application and some proposed modifications at this time, and would like the vote to be postponed until next month's agenda on January 18th. Our attorney, James Griffin of Shane Banks, has sent over a letter to County Board Chair Ogala and Land Use Chair Pretzel with this request. But I do want to provide some background about the Q Solar Farm project as well. The Q Solar Farm project is a ground-mounted solar farm located south of 104th Avenue and south of West Hughes Road. We've adhered to the current zoning standards adopted by the county, which have been confirmed by county staff. We've spoken with the Frankfurt Village District and incorporated Ordinance 245, which is the fire code standards, in our design as well. The project is unique in the sense that our company is going to be purchasing the land, not leasing it. We've designed this project to fit with the existing landscape by incorporating an additional offset from 104th Avenue and by proposing enhanced vegetation buffering. We've increased our solar panel setback from adjacent residents and property frontage. We are currently set back from the nearest adjacent resident on the north about 650 feet, on the east about 1,450 feet, to the south about 700 feet, and to the west about 3,600 feet. These numbers exceed the ordinance requirement of 150 feet. We're also proposing an enhanced vegetation screening, which would consist of a total of about 2,250 feet of vegetation buffering. Based on conversations we've had with Green Garden Township Commissioners Mark Sarkeesian and Don Murday, they've expressed that they would like to see a development such as our own closer to LaGrange Road or the US Route 45 corridor. We've taken that suggestion and found a property that is near Route 45, so this development complies with the Green Garden Comprehensive Land Use Map and Long-Term Plan. We also understand in the Frankfurt Village 2040 Comprehensive Plan and Future Land Use Map, this area is marked for single-family detached residential. To provide some background, with the Agricultural Impact Mitigation Agreement that we signed with the Department of Agriculture, we're actually required to restore this land to its original form after the project life. So this area won't be a solar farm indefinitely, just for the project life. Additionally, based on some environmental reports that we've completed, we've identified 3 isolated emergent wetlands totaling 6.52 acres, and one of those wetlands runs along almost the full frontage of the property. Additionally, this property is bisected by 150 feet tall PJM high transmission distribution lines running across the property. Due to these factors, we believe this site would be challenging for single-family detached residential development and would be more suited for a development such as our own. To our knowledge, the current landowner has not been approached by any residential builders as well. This area is also one parcel over from the Village of Frankfurt's proposed business park area in their 2040 comprehensive plan. So overall, we believe that this additional offset from the road, the enhanced vegetation buffer, and the location make this a suitable and compatible development. Thank you for your time. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Good morning, Mike Schwartz, Director of Community and Economic Development with the Village of Frankfurt. Thank you for having me, and thank you to Chair Pretzel from the Land Use Committee. I spoke last week as well. The Village Board passed a resolution on December 4th, Village of Frankfurt. This is regarding ZC 23091. The Village Board passed a resolution opposing this project unanimously. The Village adopted a award-winning comprehensive plan in 2019. That's 4 years old. It's a 20-year outlook, and the plan calls for industrial and residential in certain areas. This project is in one of those residential areas. We take great pride in that plan. We've got over 13% of our existing and future land use area set aside for industrial development, which is more than 2,000 acres of land, either in the village currently, zoned industrial, or planned for industrial. We've spoken with this applicant. We think there could be, on a case by case, we could look at this and have our village board make a determination on a different site. But this particular site it falls within the single family category. So the village is opposed to this. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you again. Happy holidays.
My name is Emil Furlane. My brother and I live at 2421 Helmar Lane. We've lived there for over 50 years. We're really concerned over this septic problem, as my brother already indicated. There is a huge tree in Mr. Petrowski's backyard. That tree is that big and round. It's got a root system that extends at least 30 feet. There is no possible way that they can enlarge their septic field without digging up a root system with roots that are 4 inches in diameter. I know, because we've got the same kind of tree in our backyard. What they want to do is build another house. They want to extend that garage from the current 910 square feet to 3,484 square feet. That is more space than our house and their house combined. And they want to put in 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, a kitchen with dishwasher, 2 baths, mechanical room, and a covered and uncovered patio. That sounds to me like they want to move more people in there. I think that's what they want to do. If it was just the grandparents, 2 people, they wouldn't need all that space. So we're really concerned about this. They want to completely destroy the character of our entire subdivision. And about an hour ago, while my brother and I were sitting back there, Mr. Petrowski came over to us and angrily said, "What in the hell are you guys even doing here? Why do you object to this?" I don't consider that very neighborly, and I hate to be, on the outs with the neighbor. But when you got neighbors that move in 2 years ago and all of a sudden want to change the whole character of the place, I think it's wrong, and I urge you strongly to deny this. Thank you.
Hello again, committee and board. Thank you for letting us speak here today. Just a few things that I might have or might have not touched on before. Oh yes, my name's Alexis Snow. It states for Cuse Road that it is a vacant lot. It's not vacant, it's being farmed. It was farmed this year. Just because there isn't necessarily a residence on it does not make it a vacant lot. It is being utilized. Secondly, they had said, oh, well, we're getting closer to, where you guys want us to be, even though we're still inside of your comprehensive plan. It's even closer if you went to where we have the designated area for this, to those high power lines that they're talking about connecting to. The only reason why is because it costs them more money, because it's commercial property instead of residential. I hope that you wouldn't postpone this. We have been missing work, the ones that that can. I don't know how many sick days or PTO days that people have to come here and do this, but for me, I'm fortunate enough that I can do that, but there's plenty of other people that can't be here that would love to be here and speak their piece. I do want to thank all of the committee and board members that are giving us your undivided attention and actually listening and caring about how we feel and how it affects us as your constituents and the community. And one last thing, there was a staff member at the last meeting that brought up the fact of the MSDS sheets for the solar panels. They said that they had to get with the company that makes the solar panels. I have tried to look for who's making their solar panels. I cannot find it. I cannot find any MSDS sheets available to us as far as that goes. So I would really appreciate it if the applicant could provide the MSDS sheets for what kind of materials, other than stating, oh, this is here, that's there. That we didn't get the full answer to that. So thank you for your time. Happy holidays.
I'm Ed Snow, her father. Green Garden Township for over 20 years. Very happy with the way it was. Situation has changed. I'll keep it short. How many of you were around or remember Plainfield, Illinois tornado? F4, F5. I spent 2 days there. It was a war zone. 4 square blocks with nothing but craters and debris fields. I don't care if their power plant can withstand 140-mile-an-hour wind. It cannot withstand a 404 or 140-mile-an-hour 2x4 or brick or whatever. Not only there, I'm getting Lamont. I was there for 2 tornadoes. Had 2 come through Frankfurt. This is climate cycling, change, whatever you want to call it. Superstorms are out there. They're not going away. Calumet City had a 500-year flood. You have a problem with this solar plant. Who's responsible for the contamination, as everybody talked about water today? Who's responsible for that? Talk to the people in Limestone, Illinois, Kankakee, gas pipeline leak. All their wells are capped. They're on city water now. Took a long time, cost a lot of money to straighten that situation out. If my land's contaminated, who's responsible for it? They're talking some more solar panels in the wrong place. Put it in the industrial zone. That's where it belongs. Not in a residential node, and certainly not alongside somebody's house. I think that's enough for now. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Good morning, everyone. I am here to speak on behalf of my family against the rezoning case for 2423 Helmar Lane. My name is Beatrice Ponce. I am a homeowner in the Crystal Lawns Division area. My biggest concern is that allowing the rezoning would cause more members of the community to want to build multi-unit properties in the area. When I was purchasing my home 5 years ago, I was primarily looking for a single-family home in a really nice school district area. My concern that opening up this community to multi-unit properties would cause the area to become overpopulated and thus could damage my daughter's ability to go to the school that we elected to go to, elected for her to go to when we purchased our home. That's my biggest issue with it, is that it would cause the area to be open for additional changes to come with it. I'm very much opposed to that, not only because of the school district, but also the impact it could make to our community in regards to property value. If we have multi-unit additions in the area, and my biggest concern is apartment complexes being built. I'm not sure if that would be a change that comes with the rezoning, but that's one of my biggest fears. In addition to that, we have a lot of major flooding in the area, which I understand they're going to rebuild a septic tank and have it larger for the amount of people that they're living in. But my concern is if their septic field is even large enough to withhold all of it and anybody else who moves into the addition. Our properties are large, but I wouldn't say large enough that flooding doesn't happen and overflooding into other people's yards happen. We have seen it where we have water backing up on property lines between one neighbor and another neighbor, and my fear is that's going to be another issue. That's not something that the county helps with. They only help with the draining out in the front by the streets. They don't help with the stuff that's that touches between two property lines, between two neighbors. So my fear is that we're going to be left with flooding and additional flooding if more people in the community want to take advantage of this and build larger properties. So I ask that the community vote no against the addition on Helmar Lane.
Make a motion to close public hearing?
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Dean Schlotman. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich.
Yes.
Trainier. Dean Schlotman. Van Dyne. Pretzel.
Yes.
Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Ogala.
Public hearing is now closed. Chair Pretzel.
Thank you, Madam Executive. First up on the agenda, ordinance amending the Will County, Illinois zoning ordinance as amended for zoning case ZC 23091. Daniel B. Light, owner of record, Akshar Patel of Coos Solar Farm LLC, agent, and Josh Nathan of Clean Tech Law Partners, attorney, requesting a special use permit for commercial solar energy facility located in Green Garden Township, commonly known as vacant property west of 104th Street and end of Cuse Road, Frankfort, Illinois, County Board District Number 3. This had a vote of 0 to 6, denying their special use permit in Planning and Zoning Committee, and 1 to 5 in Land Use Committee also denying. The applicant has requested that we make a motion to table this to January. So before I make that motion, I do not support this. I will be a no, but I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to table.
There's a motion by Pretzel to table, second by Trenier. In discussion, previous roll call? Roll call, okay. We have some discussion first, though, Mr. Butler.
Yeah, this is my area.
This is on tabling it, whether or not you want to table it.
Yeah,
Discussion
I
first.
definitely do not want to table it.
Okay. All right. Do you have a comment on tabling? County Board Member Trenier?
Yes, I think we've always kind of had a practice that if anybody brought something in front of us and then for whatever reason they decided they weren't prepared enough and they wanted to withdraw their case, I mean, I don't understand the hesitancy, but I'm going to vote in favor of the tabling. You know, we don't know what they want to change, and I do know there's been a lot of negativity surrounding this case, and I feel like they also asked us to table it last month, but I can't remember for sure. But clearly, they're not prepared, and, you know, we should give people time to prepare. So, thank you.
Chair Pretzel, you want to respond?
Yeah, I respectfully will disagree with the previous comment. I think that in this case, they have a suspicion it's not going to go their way, and they're looking to table just to give more time. The residents of Green Garden Township have taken off multiple days of work to be here. They also attended the Planning and Zoning Committee meeting. I think there was around 30 of them in attendance there. I'd like to go ahead and vote on this and deny the special use permit today, but they do have we are going to vote on it, so vote how you want. But I do think it sets bad precedent when we start allowing these companies to back out just because they don't think the vote's going to go their way. So I'll be a no.
County Board Member Diaz?
I just was wondering, why are we tabling it? Is there a reason or just because?
You don't. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we're voting on tabling. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. No. Trainier. Dean Schlotman. No. Van Dyne. No. Pretzel. No. Butler. No. Newquist. No. Richmond. No. Parker. No. Williams. No. Diaz. No. Winfrey. Yes. Coleman. Oh. Logan. No. Freeman. Yes. Revis. No. Mitchell. No. Ortiz. No. Berkowitz. No. Mueller. No. Ogala. Mm-hmm. Yes.
18 in the affirmative.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 18 in the negative, the motion fails. Clerk, or Chair Pretzel.
So I will move now to call the vote on the resolution.
11, 12, 13, 14,
There's a,
16, 17.
oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. That was 7 to the negatives. Nothing
Yes.
changes here, but, right, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, 17 in the negative, motion fails.
Yeah, so I'll make the motion now to go ahead and vote on this.
Motion by Pretzel,
Second.
seconded by Berkowitz. Any discussion? County Board Member Butler.
Yeah, so this comes up a lot in Green Gardens. We know the people of Green Gardens do not want this, and this should give us a stronger case because it does fall in between the 1.5 miles from Frankfurt, and as in Plainfield, we gave a lot of consideration to that, and I would like to think that we would do the same here. This is of no benefit to the area, and that's of great concern to me, is when we do things like this that don't benefit the area and the people don't want it, that we should listen to them.
County Board Member Ogalla.
Thank you. I appreciate the letters that are sent in via public comment regarding these solar energy plants. I myself live on a farm in eastern Will County. I live between the towns of Moni and Piatone. My area is also now getting hit with multiple solar farms that I believe are too close to residential areas. There are some solar farms being proposed that are not close, and perhaps we can vote to approve those. I wanted to let you know that the county organization that Will County belongs to, called ISACO, has created a wind and solar task force. I want you to make sure that you send in your letters to the county board so that I can submit these to this task force. We will be using them to get support, hopefully, from the legislators in Springfield to make amendments to this so that we, as a county, have the authority to deny or approve special use permits related to solar facilities like any other special use permit we have the authority to do. In addition to that, I invite you to also send them to the county executive's office. She should be aware of this as well. She spent many years in Springfield as a state senator, and I hope that she would also help to support the amendments that this ISACO board will come forward with. So thank you for being here today. I know the time commitment that's involved, and I truly appreciate every moment that you've spent. Thank you.
County Board Member Richmond.
Yeah, I just want to, these aren't solar farms, these are utility plants. And we should be treating them the same as what we would any other type of development. There's nothing being farmed here. That's all.
County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So on the Land Use and Development Committee, several times I've expressed my desire to have these types of utility plants, like Jim correctly referred them to, for solar and battery facilities zoned properly, which would be an industrial use. I believe the request was made for the state's attorney's opinion, and we may still be waiting for that. And I just wanted to have some clarification on that. And because this is something that needs to be changed, I hope we have the ability to do that because it's only reasonable. This is a utility. It's not residential. It's certainly not agricultural. So can the state's attorney please?
What are you asking?
Okay.
What's the question?
I'm asking what the status is. Apparently, there was a opinion that the county board was waiting for.
So I have verbally addressed this issue. I understand you're waiting for a written opinion. As you know, I was out due to the death of my daughter-in-law last month and did not get opinions done. I am currently working on them. However, I have verbally informed you that the legislation does not allow you to deny the permitting of solar farms if they meet the state qualifications, the parameters set forth in the state statute. So I've said that before. I'm saying it again. I think other ASAs have told you that during land use and PZC as well.
Part of that conversation also included
I'll cut and paste the language right now and I'll send it to you. It can, if it's in an ag or an industrial area and it meets all the state requirements, under the law, you're required to approve it. So.
Thank you. County Board Member Trenier?
Thank you, Madam Executive. As everybody here on this board knows, I think I've made it very clear, I do support solar energy and the siting of solar arrays. And as our state's attorney has suggested, we are supposed to approve these. I am appalled by how this company has treated the community in which they want to do business. And for that reason, I would love to be a no. But I don't want to break the law, so I'm unfortunately going to have to be a yes. I'm sure I'll be in the minority. I have no doubt about that. But I did want to get it on the record that I think this company has treated the community where they want to do business like dirt on their feet. Thank you.
County Board Member Butler?
Yes. Mary, just want to ask you a question, if I could, on your last statement. Is that directly applied to us in this situation, or because it's within 1.5 miles of Frankfort municipality, that there is a little bit of leeway here in that?
The legislation does not allow for exceptions because it's within the 1.5 miles of the municipality. So the question is, have they met the state requirements? The state and the zoning ordinance, but the zoning ordinance had to be passed in compliance with the state statute, so they are basically the same thing. They mirror each other.
I remember in previous meetings, we were talking about that there was an exception when the solar fields were within the 1.5 mile border. Does that not apply to this? Is it just for other?
It's for
land?
other zoning issues, it
Okay.
matters. But there's no exception that I know of under the solar and wind. I'll review it right now, but I don't recall there being any exception when you fall within the planning area of a municipality.
Thank you for that. I'd also like to say that, Will County is probably the lead in the loss of farmland. And we're a heavily agricultural county, and we need to protect our farmland. And I think that this is a good stand. I know that the state doesn't agree, but sometimes they need conscientious objectors to stand up and fight. And I'm willing to be one of those to fight to save our farmlands from being taken over by solar fields everywhere. I think if it's a benefit to the community and that the the solar companies have made agreements and got authorization from the people, that's a different case. But clearly that has not happened here. And I think this is, you know, a hill to die on. So thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Revis.
So I know everybody in the room here kind of knows where all the individual members a lot of times are falling on the solar farm votes. I actually have supported these projects in the past, but out of respect for the Green Garden Township residents that have come here today, I'm going to do two things. The first one is in our legislative committee. We all know that that's our committee that we produce a legislative agenda and try and make changes to state law. I'm going to try and find a way to return some autonomy to the county to decline these solar farms, especially when there are variables at play, such as the ones with this project. The second thing I'm going to do, until we can get to that, is I'm going to vote no today. I encourage everybody to do the same.
Chair Pretzel, you're actually next, and you want to go last, or you want to just?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Executive. So, I mean, we've obviously had our share of these solar project requests come through the process here this year, and I've learned a lot. What I've learned is that no two projects are the same. They're all very different. And I'm also learning that the companies that are requesting these projects are also not the same. This one has been pretty disappointing because they completely bypassed the township process and therefore giving those people a voice and an opportunity to come speak out for it or against it. They weren't given that right. I've also learned that there's board members that almost always are going to vote yes for these no matter what, and some that are going to vote no matter what. But this one's very different. And with all due respect to our Assistant State's Attorney, and you know I love you, Mary, and I hate to ever disagree with you, but when I hear you say you have to vote yes on these, or
No,
I believe you said.
I'm saying the law requires.
The law requires. I'm going to disagree. So I think what you mean to say is we're supposed to vote yes, and if you don't, there may be consequences. So I'm encouraging you all to vote no today on this one, because I don't know how you can vote yes when you have people standing in front of us today saying they're legitimately concerned about the water that they give to their children and bathe with and feed their pets with. I mean, whether you agree that's a legitimate concern or not, it's up to you, but I tend to side with the people that are saying I live 600 feet away from this 13,000 panel project, and I'm worried about my well water. So I'm going to vote no. I encourage you all to vote no, and let's see where this goes. Thank you.
County Board Member Balich.
I have two things. The first thing is that I think that I'm going to ask Mr. Pretzel to get with the Land Use Committee and create an ordinance that says any solar farm that even wants to come before our board has to present MSDS documents to prove there's no toxic material or hazardous material, both words, toxic or hazardous, in anything that's going to go on that site. And if there is, don't even bother coming. Secondly, the state can make whatever law they want. The state can be challenged. It's our duty to protect our county and the municipalities. They could get the same problem. Everybody has the same problem. If it's detrimental to us and we vote, go ahead and do it. We're idiots. And I don't think we have a bunch of idiots in here. So it's really important that we all say no to this garbage. We shouldn't be subservient to the state, period. And if the state don't like it, tell them to sue us. Take us to court and let a judge decide if that law is legitimate. And if the judge is a decent human being, which most of them probably are, they're going to side with us.
County Board Member Dean Schlottman.
I don't think I'm going to say anything new here that hasn't been said, but again, I also think as county board members,
It is our job to question the legislation that comes out of Springfield. And if this is wrong for our citizens, then it is our job to push back, regardless of what the state says. And that's all I wanted to add to it.
Thank you. So we had a motion by, oh, I'm sorry, late minute.
One thing. If some legislation is passed during the lame duck session, that legislation is something that you should always be cautious of, because they're shoving it through at the last second, getting the support of members who will no longer be a state legislator.
So we have a motion by Pretzel, was seconded by Balich. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Ogala. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16. 16.
With 16 in the negative, the motion fails. Chair Ogala, or Chair.
Okay,
Pretzel.
next up on the agenda, number 2, ordinance amending the Will County, Illinois zoning ordinance as amended for zoning case ZC 23097. Robert and Judith Smecker, owner of record, requesting a zoning map amendment from A1 to R2 and variance for lot frontage from 150 feet to 0 feet in Wilmington Township, commonly known as 23616 West Widows Road, Wilmington, Illinois, County Board District Number 1. This passed Planning and Zoning Committee and Land Use Committee, 6-0 unanimous, approving the amendment, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Dean Schlottman. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich.
Yes.
Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel.
Yes.
Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Ogala.
20 members in the affirmative, the motion carries.
Okay, number 3 on the agenda, ordinance amending the Will County, Illinois zoning ordinance adopted and approved as amended for zoning case ZC 23108, United Bank of Crete Stager Trust, number 1478, dated March 31st, 1989, owner of record. Alex Mendelson of TPE ILWI 563 LLC agent, and Kyle Berry of McGuire Woods LLP attorney, requesting a special use permit for a commercial solar energy facility and a variance for number of required mowing from 5 times to 1 time, variance for maximum ground cover plant height from 13 inches to 36 inches, located in Crete Township, commonly known as vacant property on South Nackee Road, southeast corner of South Nackee Road and West Loves Lane, Crete, Illinois, County Board District Number 3. This passed Planning and Zoning 6-0, approving the special use permit, and Land Use 5-1, also approving special use permit for a commercial solar energy facility with 3 conditions, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Ortiz. Any discussion? Is there previous? Oh, I'm sorry, County Board Member Newquist. I'm sorry.
I just want to say that I think this is an example of a solar project done properly. The company has gotten all local units of government very much involved. They've made changes based on their input. They're also providing some much-needed road repairs in the area, and I have not had a single person contact me complaining about this project. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Butler?
I will say very similar about them, and I think that this is a great company, and they have really not only shown a willingness to work, but also have offered to help the people of the community and offer a benefit for their plant being there. And, you know, let's not forget the native species.
Thank you. County Board Member Ballage.
We talked about this in our caucus, and Member Butler was explaining why it was okay. And I don't live there, he does. So in my opinion, we go with the county board member that lives there. At least they have a better feel for what the people actually want and what's good for where they live. So I will be voting in favor of it.
County Board Member Dean Schlottman.
After looking at this one and some more thought, I normally vote no to anything just based on the state legislation. But because of the due diligence that this company did, this is the one that I will actually vote yes to.
Yep. We have a motion by Pretzel, second by Ortiz, or previous roll call. By Newquist, seconded by Mueller, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, wait, did we, I thought we had unanimous. We did have unanimous. We had unanimous last time, yeah. Yes, the last one wasn't the solar one. Yeah. All right. County Board Member Pretzel.
Up Land Use and Development Committee resolutions. First on the agenda, 23-397, overturning the decision of the Planning and Zoning Commission and approving appeal APCD 23006 by Michael Joseph Petrowski, applicant for zoning case ZC 23089, Plainfield Township, commonly known as 2423 Helmar Lane, County Board District Number 7. We're going to be voting 3 different times here on all 3 variances. First up is variance 23145 for maximum accessory building area from 1,500 square feet to 3,177 square feet. This was approved in Land Use 6-0, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Winfrey. Is there any discussion? Yep, we have a lot. County Board Member Logan.
So this is my district. I have 21 emails, which is quite a bit for me since not a lot of action goes on in my district. Not one is in favor. They all oppose. And some of the big issues are the water, building a second house, et cetera, et cetera. The owners are addressing the water issue, so I do love that fact. I would have loved to have had my mom live with me in the last couple of years that she was around, so I do love that. However, due to the fact that I have so many emails, I will be voting no on all of these.
Thank you. County Board Member Dean Schlottman.
This one for me is kind of a difficult one too, but after re-looking at everything and having them come today and kind of seeing more how they have addressed the water issue, and realistically, they are not building a new structure, it's just adding to a structure. I'm going to be a yes because I think that people should be in the business of doing what they want with their property within reason, and this doesn't seem that unreasonable to me. So I'm a yes.
Thank you. County Board Member Ballage.
I'd like to hear from the other county board member for their assessment.
She's not here today.
Not here?
Porch.
Okay.
It's a covered porch.
I was hoping that, I forgot which one.
County Board Member, yeah. County Board Member Coleman. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. County Board Member Trenier.
I have a couple questions. I think land use can answer them, possibly. I did hear multiple times the size of the structure that's being proposed get exaggerated. I think the last number we heard in the public comment was 3,400 square feet. It's very clear in the documents that I think it's 2,200 and some odd number square feet. So adding another 1,200 square feet makes it seem like a monstrosity. I want to know if that 2,200 and change counts the actual square footage of the garage area that's currently in place, or is that just the portion that's going above? So that I want to know. There seems to be a lot of concern that they're going to run out of water in this neighborhood. I am also wondering, is this community on track, or would there be a potential possibility in the future for them to connect to the new Joliet water system. I know it's 10 years down the road before it's complete, or I think 20, 30, maybe 7 years down the road. I didn't know how far off the beaten track this is. I mean, I've been in Crystal Lodge, and it's weird. I mean, I'm sitting in a Panera on the corner of 59 and Caton Farm, and on my map it says I'm in Crystal Lawns, and I'm like, this is not unincorporated. This is very incorporated. So I always thought that was weird. So I'd like to know if that is true. And then the variance for the height to 26 feet. I'm assuming the 26 feet is like at the peak of the roof. So the whole building's not going to be 26 feet tall. So I just want those three things clarified. I'm generally in support of this. I do think, having all of your family close by is a good thing. But I need clarification.
Chair, do you know any of the answers, Chair? Okay, can we have someone from land use please come up here and answer the questions?
Good morning. I heard three questions in there. The question about connection to the City of Joliet water system, I have no information on, so I won't be able to answer that. The height of the building is 26 feet. That's measured from the finished grade to the top of the structure. Accessory structures are limited to 20 feet in height, so that's the reason for that request. And then what was the first question that you?
Did it count the square footage in the existing garage?
Okay, yes. So the 2,200 is for the accessory dwelling unit. When you add in the other accessory storage space, that's included in the larger number, which is also a variance that's on appeal today.
So it includes the first floor, which is currently a garage.
So you have, we have the home, which has an attached garage. That number is included in accessory storage space. Then we have the detached garage.
And I'm just asking about the detached. I'm sorry.
Yep, so
I want to be very clear about the size.
Yep, so the whole structure, all of the accessory storage space, the total of all of it, you have is, I don't have the number in front of me, it's 3,000 something.
Okay, and that counts the existing house then?
Yeah, and that includes the garage. 2,200 of that the 3,000 and change is the ADU itself.
Right, so the 2,200 is the garage plus the addition that's going above it.
It's larger than that. 2,200 is the ADU itself.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
But they're attached, they're connected. So the total is above 2,200 of the detached structure, including ADU and the garage.
Right, 2,200.
That's
what your documents
I think
say,
she's
so
trying to figure out with the garage and the addition to the garage, what is the square
What
footage?
is the size of that part of the structure?
The ADU is 2,200.
Thank you.
Hold on.
I'm stopped. I got my question answered. Thank you.
You'll get it. I wouldn't go too far, I have a feeling, Brian. County Board Member Revis.
I don't like changing my vote. Last month, I voted no on this to deny. I will be changing my vote this time around. I think when you take into account the $30,000 septic system, I did have a question for staff. Maybe they'd be able to answer it. Does that include the removal, or will they be removing the old septic tank?
So I will not be able to answer any health department questions. You'll have to direct them to the health department. As part of our permitting process, we only need an approval from the health department. That's what we're limited to. So there are certain setbacks that have to be adhered to from septic systems, and we look from They give us the approval from their department to us, and we know that it's okay.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't have any answers.
Yeah, and so, just for the rest for the board, you know, it seems like there's a ADU right next door as well. So, I mean, I think that this is not gonna damage the character of the neighborhood to a irreversible degree. I'm a yes. I encourage everybody else to be a yes too.
Thank you. County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you. So Brian, on page 18, the response from the Will County Health Department, I don't interpret that as an approval. I actually, when I read this, it says that they may very well have problems because they cannot hook up to the existing septic. It also says that they will have to get a soil evaluation to determine the size of the field. So this wasn't an approval. They actually indicated that there were concerns and that things had to be done. Now, is there something else that you received from the health department that did give you approval?
So the way it initially occurred is they had indicated to the property owner that they were going to approve the septic design, okay, which included a shared system. We later received communication from the health department that they were each, both the home and the ADU were going to have their own system.
Okay.
All right, so that is, at the moment, we haven't issued any building permits. This has not been approved, so that is not approved at the moment. So whatever the system is, will need to meet their requirements, and once we get, if this is approved, then we would look at that approval and enter it into our building permit.
Okay, so with all the documentation we have and the response from the Will County Health Department, this is not approved by the health department
I haven't,
because it's all pending.
well, it's not approved in our permitting system because we haven't issued any permits yet, okay?
Has
So
the soil evaluation been done and submitted?
I am not positive about that.
Okay.
Health Department here as well, Julie.
Oh, okay, great. We'll have, but before you leave, I also, so the variance is to raise the roof 6 foot higher. And I'm assuming that will be 6 foot higher than any existing roof line in the neighborhood.
I mean, I don't have that information. Either a single-family home could be up to 40 feet in height, so,
So looking at the pictures, it doesn't appear to me that anybody has
it's
a roof line.
mostly single-story homes in that
Exactly.
neighborhood, you know,
Exactly.
ranch-style homes. So it
So
could
another
be higher.
6 foot is going to be huge. I had mine, we had a 3-story addition.
No, just the questions.
Okay.
Just-
The second thing is with the ADU, is the footprint of the garage being extended in any way, or is this being built completely on top of the garage with no?
So the plans that were submitted, which, you know, none of this is officially approved, all right? So the plans that are submitted and that we have on file show an expansion behind the garage, all right? So, you know, behind the garage, they want to have the ADU space, and then also above the garage.
Which
So
means additional building on the ground.
that's how, that's what the plans look like that we have on
That's what I
file.
saw.
That's what's shown in
Okay.
your packet.
Okay.
But none of that is approved. I mean, you're not approving that design. That is all yet to be determined if that is what they actually do.
Well, having experience with septic and well and the implications and how it impacts more than just the neighbors, it impacts your day-to-day life. We really need to have more answers and not what-ifs. I'm not comfortable voting for something with all of these what-ifs, especially having experienced these same issues myself. So I will not be supporting this. I would just say, I think our process, we ought to have more answers and less unknowns. To vote on a what-if, I'm not comfortable with that. So for these issues, I'm going to vote.
All right. County Board Member Butler?
Okay, so part of that number, the 2,200, included that walkway, correct?
When you say walkway, like pavement on
Went
the
from the
ground?
garage to the house. It was like a
Like
covered
pavement
walkway.
on the ground, covered space?
I mean.
I don't have any of those
Okay,
documents in
well, I
front of
believe
me.
it did. Okay. And I also believe, from my understanding of looking at this, that the addition is on top of the garage. And, you know, I know for a garage, it seems high 26 feet, but because it's a residence, we know residence is commonly around 35 feet. So it has to be raised if they're going to be approved for, you know, an apartment up there. So is it, do you have any familiar, are you familiar at all with the grades in that area?
I mean, it's relatively flat. There is some grade change of a couple feet, but it's out over a
I'm
pretty
talking about
dispersed area.
in the neighborhood.
I mean, it's relatively flat compared to other areas.
Right, so not much pitch.
Not much.
So there's a history of water problems in that neighborhood.
There are people that have shared information that there's water issues in the neighborhood. I am not aware of a specific water issue, though.
Well, it seems as though there are. And so my question is, if we are building up, does that affect the water flow in the area?
So with every building permit that's submitted to our office, depending on the size of what the structure is, we have an engineered site plan prepared that shows where the displaced water is going to go. And the earth is contoured so that water flows to the area where it needs to go. So on this specific structure causing additional water issues, I mean, that really isn't anticipated from an engineering perspective because it is designed in a way to accommodate the flow of water.
So you don't foresee this disturbing the current water flow?
I mean, it shouldn't. I mean,
Because it's building straight up. You're not
a
taking any more
professional
land.
engineer will certify a plan stating that it will conform to all of the county's adopted standards and ordinances to get water where it needs to go.
Okay, and I was just asking so that the other members were clear on some of the key issues here of water problems, right? And the height and why it is that way. And it's not an extreme height. It's just, actually, it's a little bit shorter for that height than a lot of residents, which a lot of them are, you know, capped off at 35. So, thank you.
County Board Member Freeman?
Good morning. So I am a little bit confused because I'm hearing that it's going to be a structure that's going to be built on the existing garage, but there's an addition of another platform, am I correct?
The existing garage, which is located behind the home, will be expanded, and they will have there'll be a first floor expansion, and it will be built on top. Okay, so they're expanding the existing structure, and I don't know how else I can describe it. That's just what they're doing. They're expanding the existing garage. It will go. The garage right now is 1 story. It'll be a 2-story structure.
So it'll be longer and taller.
Longer and taller.
Thank you.
County Board Member Newquist?
So, Brian, I just want to make sure I understand. I voted for this at land use, but when I read the staff analysis, it looks like you guys were recommending approval of of a variance for the ADU for this in terms of the variance for the side yard and the ADU itself, but you're not recommending approval of the size, the additional size.
So that is correct. There were 5 requests with this proposal. The first was the special use permit for the accessory dwelling unit. Staff did recommend approval of that. There was also a variance for side yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet. That's for the existing structure, so that brings it into compliance. We did recommend approval of that as well, and that was granted by the PZC. The variance for accessory structure height, a variance for accessory structure size, and the variance for the ADU size, the staff recommended denial because we did not believe it met the criteria for a variance approval.
So then I guess where I'm confused is if you were willing to approve the ADU, where are they supposed to build the ADU?
So the ADU could still be placed on the property anywhere where it meets the setbacks. and conforms to the 650 square feet. So the county board decided that 650 square feet was the appropriate number for ADUs. Staff recommended approval of that ADU. We're saying it's good for that size. Anything above and beyond that, we recommend a denial on.
But not on top of the garage. You're suggesting elsewhere on the property as a completely
Anywhere it can be
detached.
placed where it would meet the setbacks and then also comply with any health department requirement.
Okay, thank you.
County Board Member Pretzel?
There's a lot here. So I think it's important for us to know that we're not voting on building permits here today. We're voting on 3 different variances, and you should vote how you want to vote on those. But just remember, we're not approving blueprints. We're not the health department. They still have to go through all of those steps before they can break ground on this. So let's vote on the variances. But I also think it's important to know, I've talked to this family, they're going to build this. Whether we allow them to do it on top of their garage or as an addition to their home, if they did it as an addition to their home, they wouldn't even be here. They're well within their rights to put on big of an addition as they want. And they could go about 10 feet higher than this. So just because it's 10 feet away and there's a walkway instead of it actually having a roof connecting them, I don't think makes a ton of difference. I'm going to support this, but I just think it's important to note that it's the only reason we're even having this discussion is because it's not attached to their house. So I'm going to be a yes on this.
County Board Member Trenier?
Yes, I just have one more clarifying question. If for some reason, because I'm supporting this as well, if for some reason this doesn't pass and the issue is the size, do they have to go through this whole process again just to reduce the footprint by, 200 feet, 400 feet, whatever it would take to make us happy?
So the county board has already approved the accessory dwelling unit at the meeting in November. So
right.
the only thing, if they want to comply with the 650 square feet, then they wouldn't be coming back before the board. They could have that permitted through our office, provided it complies with every other regulation that this board has put in
Right.
place for ordinances and.
No, I was just asking, like, let's say we vote no, and they want to come back, and instead of asking for the size that they're asking for today, they ask for something smaller, more than 650, but smaller.
Then they would
Do
need
they
to
have
come.
to pay all over again?
Yes, they would.
Oh, that would be bad. Okay, thank you.
County Board Member Berkowitz?
Thank you. And Brian, can you just clarify, if they decide to put the ADU on the house, and it's over the 600, well, then you wouldn't consider it. It would just be a home expansion?
So that can get complicated because there is still an ADU, even if it's in part of the home, there are still rules on square footage, all right? So it would depend, are they having shared living facilities? Are they going to have its own kitchen, its own cooking and cleaning, all that other stuff that would make it be a separate unit? If they just did a room expansion on the house and added space, and there was no new separate entrances, and it was just the home itself, then they could most likely do that without any action before this board.
But if it needs a special use permit, and that if it goes above the 660 square feet, that's a special use permit, whether it's attached to the home or the garage?
I believe it is, but I don't have the code in front of me. If
Okay.
it's above the 650.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. I'm sorry, Frankie, why don't you clarify what we're voting on first here now?
First up, variance for maximum accessory building area from 1,500 square feet to 3,177 square feet.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich.
Yes.
Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel.
Yes.
Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz.
No.
Mueller. Ogala.
Yes.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 affirmative.
17 in the affirmative, the motion carries. Chair
Yep.
Pretzel.
Vote on a variance for a maximum height of an ADU from 20 feet to 26 feet, and I so move.
Motioned by Pretzel, seconded by Mueller. Any discussion on this? Madam Clerk,
Previous roll.
please, previous roll?
Second.
Previous roll call by Butler, seconded by,
Mike is going to be it.
oh, yes, I'm sorry. County Board Member Mike Freeman
Can I change my vote to a yes? on
for
it?
this one? Yeah. So we have a previous roll call by, I'm sorry, who said it? Trinier, seconded by Logan, with the exception of County Board Member Freeman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next, variance 23-129, variance for a maximum size of an accessory dwelling unit from 650 square feet to 2,212 square feet, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Trinier. Previous roll call by Dean Schlottman, seconded by Mueller. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next, under Land Use and Development Committee Resolutions, number 23-398, amending certain provision of the Will County Building Ordinance for pre-manufactured accessory storage space, amending code 150.030, building requirements for section International Residential Code R7031.1, water resistance 150.070, section 150.070, exception 1 on 1, and I so move.
Motion by Pretzel, seconded by Mueller. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel.
Yes.
Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman. Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz.
Yes.
Mueller. Ogala.
22 in the affirmative, the motion carries.
Thank you. Our next Land Use and Development Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. right here at the County Office Building. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Richmond, Finance.
Good morning, Madam Executive. I have 3 items. First item up is the monthly financial reports to be placed on file, and I so move.
Motion by Richmond, seconded by Ogala. Previous roll call by Diaz, seconded by Mueller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second up is resolution number 23-399, transferring appropriations with the various county budgets, and I so move.
Motion by Richmond, seconded by Winfrey. Previous roll call by Mueller, seconded by Diaz. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Third and last item is resolution 23-400, authorizing county executive to execute necessary documents for delinquent tax program, and I so move.
Motion by Richmond, seconded by Winfrey. Previous roll call. I heard it. Dean Schlottman, seconded by Ballage. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next, Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024 at 11 o'clock. Don't be late.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Works and Transportation, Chair Van Dyne. Hold on. All right, there we go.
Thank you, Madam Executive, and good morning to everyone. Public Works and Transportation Committee brings 12 items to consider this morning, starting with number 1, Resolution 23-401, confirming award of contract to various contractors for the countywide maintenance material, bituminous patching, all county board districts, and I would like to make that motion.
Second, Freeman.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Ogala, seconded by Winfrey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 23-402, confirming award of contract to various contractors for the countywide maintenance material, bituminous prime. Sounds like a transformer to me, but this is in all county board districts, and I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Winfrey, seconded by Mueller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
23-403, confirming award of contract to various contractors for the countywide maintenance material, various aggregate, all county board districts. I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, second by Mueller. Previous roll call by Freeman, seconded by Newquist. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 23-404, confirming award of contract to various contractors for the countywide maintenance material, pipe culvert, and corrugated steel culvert pipe, all districts, and I will make the motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Winfrey, seconded by Mueller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
23-405, adopting IDOT resolution for improvement by county under the Illinois Highway Code for the countywide maintenance material. All county board districts using our MFT funds, $4,579,900, and I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by O'Gala. Previous, Mueller, seconded by Winfrey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
23-406, confirming award of contract to WMC, $135,900 for salt conveyor systems repair in District 3, 5, and 7, and I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, second by, was that you, Mr. Butler? Seconded by Butler. Previous roll call by Dean Schlottman, seconded by Newquist. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
23-407, resolution for improvements by county under the Illinois Highway Code for the salt conveyor systems repair in county board districts 3, 5, 6, using our MFT funds, $150,000. I so move.
Second, Freeman.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Freeman. Previous roll call by Winfrey, seconded by Parker. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
23-408, confirming award of contract to Iroquois Paving Corporation, $536,445.86 for the Moni Road District Highland Avenue Bridge Repair in District 3, and I'll make the motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Butler. Previous roll call by Newquist, seconded by O'Gala. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
23-409, authorizing approval of the establishment of altered speed zone 680 along Bruns Road within Green Garden Township Road District, County Board District 3. I so move.
Second, Freeman.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Butler. Previous roll call by Freeman, seconded by O'Gala. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Show me as a yes, please.
Yes.
Resolution 23-410, authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services with RS&H on Gauger Road, County Highway 52, from Farrow Drive to Francis, County Highway 64, in Districts 2 and 5, and I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by O'Gala. Previous roll call by Ballard, seconded by Freeman. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 23-411, the transfer of jurisdiction of Parker Road, County Highway 1 to the new Lenox Township Road District by the county under Illinois Highway Code, County Board District 4, and I will make the motion.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Richmond. Any discussion? Previous roll call by Logan, seconded by Winfrey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And lastly, 23-412, transfer of jurisdiction of Parker Road, Chicago Bloomington Trail, Hadley Road, County Highway 1, to the Village of Homer Glen by the county under the Illinois Highway Code, County Board District 4, and I so move.
Motion by Van Dyne, seconded by Ballard. Previous roll call by Logan, seconded by Richmond. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And our next Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m., and that concludes our report.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Health and Public Safety Committee, Chair Freeman.
I get to say good morning still because there's 4 minutes left until noon. This month, we had presentations from United Way about the 211 hotline, Will County Environmental Network, and the Emergency Management Agency. All presentations can be found on our agendas online. We also had our monthly reports from Sunny Hill, the Health Department, Board of Health, and the Substance Abuse Initiative. And also, those reports can be found online. I have 2 resolutions to bring forward. 23-384, authorizing the renaming of the Will County Animal Control Department to the Will County Animal Protection Services Department, and I so move.
Motion by Freeman, seconded by Mueller. We have a discussion item, County Board Member Richmond.
I just have a question. Do they have like a cost estimate for what it's gonna cost to change all the letterhead, uniforms, signage, things like that?
They did not give us a cost estimate, but it is within their, if I am correct, it is within their budget, and it's just the signs and name
Okay.
badges. So
Usually those things do.
it's very minimal, and we think that this change will help in the view of the animal services that we provide, and it will also open the door for more services. It passed unanimously through committee.
County Board County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you. My concern with this is we just went through a very rigorous budgeting process, and, you know, pennies matter. There is no cost analysis or documentation on what this is going to cost. Replacing signage is very expensive. Then when you add letterhead, business cards, I think we have a responsibility to really hold our finances in check. So if they want to change the name, go ahead, but I would say I don't support the added expense for changing unnecessary things. So perhaps you will want to come forward, bring it back next month with the actual cost.
I'm sorry, I'm supposed to address you.
To, you know.
Sorry, I was out of order.
Perhaps with the actual dollars that this will cost the taxpayer before we, because otherwise we have the same mission, we have the same purpose. I don't know why we need to change the name. Thank you.
Madam Executive, as I have stated, I am pretty sure this was in their budget. I cannot say 100% because my memory sometimes fails me, but I do recall them talking about that it was not going to be a concern.
County Board Member Ogala.
Thank you. So the Animal Control Department charges fees for all the different municipalities that make agreements with them. But one thing I do see often on Facebook, it pops up on my page, is that they are asking for donations for food and such for the animals. So to me, a name change doesn't do anything except the name. The county board chair used to be the county board speaker. The role is still the same. Changing the name from the Will County Animal Control Department to the Will County Animal Protection Services Department changes nothing. It's just a name change. I looked into other counties to see what they did, and some have a name like maybe Animal Protection and they do adoptions, and some have Animal Control and they do adoptions. So this is just a name change. You know, what Member Berkowitz brought forward was a very good question, is like, are we being good stewards of any dollars they collect if we are then also asking the public to contribute? Now, I do know also that they are doing free chipping of animals, and my Facebook page is loaded with missing pets and found pets and such like that. So I think they do a very good job. So those are things you can consider when you're voting today. You want to vote yes to support a name change for no reason except they ask for the name change, or if you think it's an appropriate thing, whatever you guys choose. Those are some thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. County Board Member Butler.
Yes, I like a name that describes exactly what the department does. And I think most people who call that department are calling them to have an animal controlled. So I think it eliminates confusion. A lot of times people will call up because dogs are loose or, you know, and they need someone to come out and make sure that the animal is controlled. So I really don't like the name change, so I will not be supporting it.
Okay, thank you. County Board Member Revis.
I think no matter what we decide to call this, people are still going to call it animal control. I am going to be a no on it today, but I would be a yes in the future if we get, like, you know, how much this is going to cost and things like that. You know, just not having that information in front of us, it makes it difficult to support.
County Board Member Mueller.
How many other departments are allowed to make changes like this without our vote? As long as it's within their budget. I mean, I feel like we're getting a little nitpicky here about wanting to see every dime spent on everything when it's really not, we're not staying in our lane at all. If it's in their budget and their department head comes forward and says it's in my budget, I'm asking for it, that's enough. We don't need to nitpick everything. If you want to look it over, go back and look at your telephone book of a budget book. I'm just really getting tired of all the nitpicking of every department head in this county. If it's in their budget, that is your time to vote against their budget. This is just absurd. It's absurd. It's a whole waste of time. You know, we're trying to expand services. We're trying to do better for the people in this county. We're trying to do what's best for them. And you guys want to like nitpick them over a name change. Okay, I mean, if that's how you want to be, I guess that's how we're going to do it. But it's ridiculous and it's absurd. And all it's doing is a complete disservice to the people of the county and frankly, all their animals. Thank you.
County Board Member Diaz.
Hi, I'm suspecting that a part of the reason that they're wanting to do the name change is this might help them be able to get more grant money, which would then help their budget. To me, that's the only major reason why I would be thinking about doing this. Okay, thank you.
I will note that because as Chair Ogala mentioned, the rabies tags that they get, the health or the Animal Control Center is pretty much self-sustaining. County Board Member Richmond.
I don't think there's anybody here that's against pets and all that kind of stuff, and I see the local adoption facilities out by me constantly asking for money and donations of food and that, and I regularly drop off monies, food, things like that, and I want to see the money being spent on helping the animals. I mean, a name change, I've gone through branding and name changes within organizations I've been in, and they've always been significant costs. You know, when you start to dig into the letterhead and the business cards and the patches for uniforms, things like that, I would just like to see, even if it's minimal, I mean, minimal to some people is $100,000, minimal to others is $100. And I believe anywhere between $100,000 and $150,000 would buy a lot of food for animals. So that's all.
County Board Member Mitchell.
Yeah, okay, so the animal control, they're paying for it. It's within their budget. Why are we involved? They want to, as long as they're not asking for money from us, then why?
It's statutory.
I am so confused right now. If my colleagues would help me and clarify why we care about this, this would make my life easier. That's it, thank you.
It's in the ordinance, that's why we are, yeah. So County Board Member Parker.
So that was also my question, why are we involved? And my second question is, don't they have their own budget that they're self-sustained? So they don't really come to the county, like, we're for budgeting, right? So they have their own budget.
Yes. County Board Member, so you understand, I mean, County Board Member Mitchell, what you said, it's in the ordinance, that's why we're changing it. County Board Member Trenier.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I do see their role as protecting animals. I mean, they chip them, they neuter them, they spay them, they come and pick up the strays so they don't get hurt or injured. I think this is as good a name as control. I don't see the issue if they want to change their name. I'm guessing, like anybody, they're not going to just like throw out all their stationery and throw out all their business cards. When they run out, they'll print new ones with the new name. Maybe, I mean, I know we built them a new facility. I don't recall looking at it and seeing a name on the building. You know, maybe there's nothing there now and, you know, this would just be a new sign. I don't know, and I don't know that all of my fellow county board members know. But if this is going to motivate them and give them pride, and this is something they care about, it seems to me we should support it as we support all of our employees. So I will be a yes. Thank you very much.
County Board Member Freeman?
Yeah, I'm confused now as to the, not supporting a name change. So, we'll go ahead and call the question.
All right. Seeing no more discussion. Oh, County Board Member Mitchell.
Sorry. Okay, so my understanding is, and I did call upon my colleague here, Julie, Board Member Berkowitz. Apparently there's some pending things that are happening in the Legislative Committee. I'm sorry for seeming like so out of it on this. There's some pending things happening in legislative committee as to what this, and why we do the name change or why we need to do the name change. Then why can't we resolve that first and then come back and then do the name change all at once? We can't do that? Can we do that? Apparently there's some ordinance issues. Is that not true, Board Member Berkowitz?
All right, it's not, that's out of order. So County Board Member Newquist?
I'd like to call the question.
You,
I'm sorry, then I would like to formally ask that we wait until whatever it is that's happening in legislative committee happens. So I would like to table this until what happens in legislative committee happens, the ordinance there happens. So that's what I'm asking right now to you, Madam Executive. So I so move to do that.
There's a motion to table by Mitchell, seconded by Berkowitz. Any discussion on the tabling? All right, Madam Clerk, this is a vote on tabling the topic. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. Trainier.
Yes.
Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams.
I think it's ludicrous.
Diaz. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman.
I just want to say, wow. Just wow.
Need your vote.
I will not be opposed to bringing it back. So yes.
Revis.
What's this table?
Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Ogala.
I think it should be voted for now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 14 affirmative. What? Yeah.
14 in affirmative, the motion carries. Chair Freeman.
See how we do on this one. Number 23413, authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will County Sheriff's Office, and the Board of Education of Lincoln Way Community High School District 210 for school resource officer services, and I so move.
Motion by Freeman, seconded by O'Gala. Is there any discussion? Okay, Madam
Not
Clerk,
sure if it's in their budget.
please call the roll.
Balich. Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne.
Yes.
Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams. Diaz. Winfrey. Logan. Freeman.
Yes.
Revis. Mitchell. Ortiz. Berkowitz. Mueller. Ogala.
22 in the affirmative, the motion carries.
Thank you very much. Our next public health and
I'm
public
sorry,
safety.
that was 20 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Next meeting will be Tuesday, January 19th at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Berkowitz, Legislative Committee.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I also was trying to make a comment regarding the animal control. Can I share that still? I wanted to
And the
make,
vote is already taken, but if you want to talk about your legislative thing,
well, I
that's
just
fine.
want to make sure that when they come forward, that they have the information that was requested, their plans, if they are replacing signage, the costs. So I just want to make sure that that comes forward with. Okay, thank you. So for legislative, our committee will continue to work on the legislative agenda, and we will be beginning this on our next meeting, which is Tuesday, January 2nd. You are all welcome to join us that day. I also want to remind all of our county board members. What's that? I'm sorry. Let me do the first item first. So we've got item 23414, authorizing the payment of the Will County Board's membership to UCCI for 2024. And the resolution is attached. And do we have a motion? I'd like to make a motion that we.
County Board, or motion by Berkowitz, seconded by Butler. County Board Member Ternier for discussion.
Yep, I just had a question. Is this money in our budget? Because I didn't hear discussion on this during the budget process. Do you know if, you know what, can we get somebody from finance or Marcy or somebody to come and tell me if this is in the budget? Where we'd be paying for this from? No, it's not free.
If it's your county board budget, I'm assuming, I don't know what's coming out. Is Marcy here to confirm that?
Here. We have discussed this, and we did discuss it at committee. We have been planning to join this organization, and we don't have any financial issues or I mean, it's not free. This membership will give us the opportunity to help our board members continue to educate themselves, to also become stronger leaders and become bigger team players. And it's a growing opportunity for us. And our committee did feel that this would be beneficial to each one of us in our roles as representing our residents in the county. So for that reason, we're coming forward, and I'd like to call the vote.
County Board Member Freeman.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I mentioned it last night at caucus. I have no problem joining the UCCI, but I do want it to be known that we should also remain with Illinois State Association of Counties, because anything that UCCI does, it has to be unanimous with all of their members. So things like the solar farm and the task force, UCCI was unable to go to state legislation to fight for any changes because there was not a unanimous vote. So I think that it's important that we do both, not just one or the other. Thank you.
Thank you. Chiro Gallo.
Thank you. During one of the proposed leadership meetings that didn't end up happening, one of my agenda items was to discuss the budget. And so therefore, I wanted you all to know that, yes, I did make sure that our county board budget included the membership fee to join UCCI. And also, just because we join UCCI doesn't mean we're not going to stay as a member of ISACO. ISACO is doing the great thing. They've created this wind solar task force that we hope to get some amendments made. So I hope that clears up your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second to join UCCI. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. Yes. Trainier. Yes. Dean Schlottman. Yes. Van Dyne. Yes. Pretzel. Yes. Butler. Yes. Newquist. Yes. Richmond. Yes. Parker. Yes. Williams. Diaz. Yes. Winfrey. Yes. Logan. Yes. Freeman. Yes. Revis. Yes. Mitchell. Yes. Ortiz. Yes. Berkowitz.
Yes.
Mueller. Yes. Ogalla.
Yes. 20 in the affirmative, the motion carries.
Okay. Thank you, and I do want to remind all of our county board members that if you have any conversations or communications with any of the legislators regarding our legislative agenda or any topics to be placed on that agenda, please share that information. Send it to myself or Chair Ogalla or to Kim so that we will have those materials. And like I said, we will be meeting Tuesday, January 2nd at 12 o'clock. You are all invited to attend, and hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Mueller, Capital Improvements.
Good afternoon, everyone. This month, we did not have any resolutions to pass. There were reports given on the capital projects we have going on, so if you'd like to read those, they are on the agenda for that meeting. Otherwise, I will see you all January 2nd at 10 a.m., bright and early in the committee room, I think. Unless we're all sick, and then we'll be in here, like last time. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Landfill Committee, Chair Dean Schlottman.
There's no resolutions to bring forward at this time, but I encourage everybody to come to the next landfill committee, Thursday, January 4th. Probably in this room, I think. And hopefully going forward, we'll start talking about the plans for the landfill.
Thank you. Chair Ogala, Executive.
Thank you. Item number 1 is the resolution 23-415, authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement between Troy Township and the County of Will for traditional recycling, and I so move.
Motion by Ogala, seconded by Pretzel. Previous roll call by Newquist, seconded by Dean Schlottman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, resolution 23-416, authorizing the county executive to execute intergovernmental service provider agreement with PACE for continuation as a service provider for the Will County Mobility Management Project, and I so move.
Motion by Ogala, seconded by Van Dyne. Previous roll call by Winfrey, seconded by, was it Diaz? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3, resolution 23-417, declaring vehicles as surplus and authorizing disposal, and I so move.
Motion by Ogala, seconded by Winfrey. Previous roll call by Pretzel, seconded by Mitchell. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 4, resolution 23-418, declaring various equipment surplus and authorizing disposal, and I so move.
Motion by Ogala, seconded by Berkowitz. Previous roll call by Dean Schlottman, seconded by Van Dyne. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5, resolution 23-419, adoption of the initial collective bargaining agreement between the County of Will and District 8 of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, AFL-CIO, for the Will County Treasurer's Office, and I so move.
Motion by Ogala, seconded by Winfrey. Previous roll call by Van Dyne, seconded by Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next executive committee meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 4th at 10 a.m. Next, we move on to appointments by the county executive. We have one appointment today for the resolution 23-420, approving the county executive appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission of Will County, and I so move.
Motion by Ogala, seconded by Winfrey. For the previous? Previous by Trenier, seconded by Richmond. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. At this time, are there any public comments relevant to matters under the jurisdiction of the county? Is there any public comment? Public all left the room. Okay, we will move on to comments by county board members. Please press your button and we will get to you. I'm hoping in the spirit of Christmas, we focus on be kind to each other and just focus on county board issues. County Board Member Mitchell.
Madam Executive, I understand that there are some comments that were emailed regarding 143rd Street. Are they not going to get read
Well,
into the
this is, and
record?
I've been talking to the attorneys here.
Yeah.
There is a public comment link on the county board agenda. And there's another one that says these are not public comments. So some of these, we have received comments on 143rd. You should be provided copies by your staff, but they're not public comments. Some of these I received as well. And so this is a situation where we're going to just be giving every issue that comes to county board, every issue that comes to my office would be read into comments. So we do have them. There's very clear difference. It's a public comment at Will County Board as opposed to just to the county board in general. So you will always get and I'm assuming staff has those, you will always get those comments, but the ones that are read in public should be saying public comment. Because again, a lot of these are copies that I get as well. They'll direct them just maybe to one specific, to all county boards and just to their specific, so that's why, but you should be made sure that you will have them all. I did confer with the state attorney on this. Okay. Thank you. County board, what's that? Oh, I don't care, yeah. I mean, if you want us to read them all, we can. County Board Member Dean Schlottman. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. We'll get you, don't worry, Tom. Oh.
We're not,
I recognize County Board Dean Schlottman. Go
Right, I
ahead.
was just hoping that everyone had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Point of order, I wanted to,
Let them go.
We're on comments, Steve. Okay, so please, yeah, we're on public comments. You'll have a time to speak your comment, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, that was a nice gesture, so we, sorry it
I'm
was
good.
interrupted. County Board Member Ortiz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. I'd like to read an opinion from the Washington Post. Bethlehem usually comes alive at Christmas, but not this year. In the Holy Land, celebrations have been canceled. No parades, festivities, or public tree lightings. In Jordan, where Jesus was baptized, the Christian community has chosen to do the same. Joyous revelry is untenable at a time of immense suffering of Palestinians in Gaza, said Mayor Hanan Haniyeh. In the occupied West Bank, one Bethlehem church has adapted its nativity scene, placing the infant Jesus among the rubble of a bombed-out building. It is a reflection of the story playing out on screens everywhere, the horrific images of the destruction of Gaza, and especially its bloodied and broken children. If Christ were to be born today, he would be born under the rubble and Israeli shelling. Reverend Munther Isaac. Since October 7th, the vast majority of casualties in Israel and the West Bank and Gaza Strip have been civilians. Whether killed, kidnapped, or unjustly detained, each person leaves an unfillable void. There's no difference between the pain Palestinian and Israeli mothers feel over the loss of a child. Every day that goes by without a ceasefire, so much more is being tragically lost. In just over 2 months, Israel has turned Gaza into a hellscape. Almost 20,000 dead, at least 8,000 are children, more than the death tolls of Pearl Harbor, the September 11th attacks, and Hurricane Katrina combined. About 2 million out of 2.2 million people in Gaza have been displaced. Almost an entire population turned into refugees. More than 50,000 Gazans have been wounded, but only 8 hospitals out of 36 are operational. On top of all this, hunger. Nearly half of the people in Gaza are starving. In more than 2 months, less than a week's worth of aid they need will be allowed in. How could starving a population be considered a legitimate form of self-defense? International organizations are now calling Gaza a graveyard for children. How perverse that the Holy Land should be described as something so profoundly unholy. This has become an unequivocal humanitarian nightmare. With each passing day, the threshold of what is acceptable falls to new lows, setting a terrifying precedence for this and other wars to come. No matter which side you're on, no matter which side you support, you can still demand a ceasefire, the release of hostages and detainees, and unrestricted access to aid. Ceasefire is just the beginning. We must also embark on a difficult process of rehumanization, recognizing the humanity of others and acting on that universal kinship. We must end the occupation and apartheid in Palestine. Israel has been exposed for its patterns of unlawful killing, detention, and discrimination, and we must cease to fund the siege and genocide on Gaza with our American tax dollars. Leaders and local electeds met with my congressperson, who admitted he was fully aware of the crimes Israel commits against Palestinian civilians, yet he retains the notion that Israel has the right to so-called self-defense. This is shameful, and if there is a special place in hell for Bibi, as my congressperson said, then there are several seats right next to Bibi for those elected officials who were complicit in his war crimes and the mass slaughter of children. This war has to end. Today it boils down to one question that each of us must answer. If you could prevent hundreds or thousands of more children from dying, would you? If so, demanding a ceasefire is the absolute minimum you can do, and we, all of us, must do so together. I ask that each member of this board sign on to the letter to President Biden that is organized by Jewish Voice for Peace Action and co-led by State Representative Lillian Jimenez and Delaware State Representative Medina Wilson Anton. I've sent a copy of the sign-on sheet to staff and distributed to all board members. Please sign on to this letter. Please call for a lasting ceasefire now. It's what Jesus would do.
Thank you. County Board Member Berkowitz.
Thank you, Madam Executive. You know, many times we're told that our comments should be reflected to county issues, and I think we need to be consistent. What is relevant to the county, and I think we need to be very consistent with that. I understand that a lot of people are struggling right now, and there is an impact with things happening in the larger world. But right here today, we need to be mindful not to say anyone's name and to say things against or harmful towards those people. That has happened here this morning, obviously. And we need to be diligent and consistent. I guess I will also mention, I brought this home from the county. I just happened to look at it this morning. I don't know who brought it, who gave it to me, but this is not county business. And when I come here, I don't do social things. I focus on doing county business. And I'd like us to, each one of us, make that effort, extra effort to do that. And we rely on you as well to make sure that it's consistent.
I'm not going to be blamed for everyone's approach here. I'm really getting a little tired of this. I really am. You have time at the end to say what you want. I cut one person off, you'll be mad that I'm cutting the person off. I don't cut them off, you're mad that I don't cut them off. Folks, I do not know what to do anymore. I really don't. So
We're
I
just
appreciate what you're
asking-
saying. I know that.
Yes, and we're just asking for consistency.
I really try to be, so please just finish. You guys, I really don't know what you want me to do up here. I don't. So.
Rules are the same for everyone.
Absolutely.
And trust me, I understand. I've been cut off a lot of times. It is what it is. But let's be consistent and let's make sure. We should not be expressing things in this room that can go out and insult anyone in any capacity. And that's my fear when I hear discussions go off the rails. So I just want to make that clear. Thank you.
County Board Member Revis?
So 12 months onto this board, I just wanted to say I'm grateful for the interactions we've had, all the board members, both on the Republican side of the aisle and on the Democrat side of the aisle. I know, it doesn't necessarily seem like that because when we get in this room, sometimes there's tension, but overwhelmingly positive interactions with everybody. So I wanted to thank everyone for that. I just wanted to say for the next 12 months and beyond, everybody has my commitment that I'm going to be a better listener. I'm going to use more tactical empathy. I'm going to try and understand the issues that tick for everybody on the board. So ultimately, we can provide a better result and outcome and product to the people of Will County. So with that, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And in the next few weeks, if you guys have anything that you'd like to talk about, I want to make sure that I'm available. So thank you again and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you. County Board Member Van Dyne.
Thank you. I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas as well. Everyone in this room, elected officials, and I don't want to leave out the staff that works here at this building. I know they do amazing jobs, so I want to wish them a Merry Christmas. And also the men and women that work in the field. I think most of the public will see these folks, and they do the job that they do the work for us, and it gives us either a good name or a bad name of how they perform in the field. And I believe that they do a tremendous job, and I want it to be public to know that I thank them, and I want to wish them a Merry Christmas as well. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. County Board Member Butler?
I would just like to say that I appreciate that everybody's voices get heard. I think it's very important. I think there are a lot of topics that seem bigger, nationwide, but they do affect the people here. So I do appreciate allowing everybody to be heard. So I just want to thank you for that. And I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And that was it.
Okay, thank you. County Board Member Williams?
Yes, I just wanted to kind of echo what Butler just said. I think that world issues do affect Will County. And I'm also appreciative of people that are speaking out on behalf of those that can't speak for themselves. So in that spirit, this is the Christmas spirit that is going on over in Bethlehem. So I would like everybody to just take that into consideration, and I do hope that we do have peace at some point, and hopefully very, very soon. And on behalf of Board Member Trenier asked me to say peace on earth and happy holidays to everybody.
County Board Member Pretzel.
I will see you all next year.
Thank you. There we go. Okay. Okay. Moving on to leadership. County Board Member Ballage.
Well, I was hoping to have all the emails from the people 143rd Street read into the record because that's my district and Jim Richmond's district, and it's extremely important for these people to be heard. They took the time to send out an email, and then it gets just shipped around. It needs to be read into the record, and I was going to make a motion to that effect, but it's too late now. So I'm just going to read the emails.
And you're fine to do that. I'll let you do that during your time, but they will be put in the record, just so you know. And it was addressed to county
Well, I
board, so
want it
everyone
so
should.
that when they listen to the video, people can hear it. They don't have to go searching for it. So I'm just taking my time now, besides telling everybody, God bless you, and Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff. Eat a lot of candy and cake and cannolis. I want to read this into the record so they actually hear it. So I'm going to start here. This is
We
from
do have
Gerald.
executive, I don't care, just because people are going to get restless, I don't want people to walk out. We do have,
They
they
can
can
walk
walk
out.
out,
I
but
don't
executive
care.
session, we do have it, so go ahead.
If you got to go home, go. I don't care. But I'm going to read it anyway. This is from Gerald Beatty, and he says, both my wife and I are totally against expansion of 143rd. And this one is from R. Carter, I can't see which one it is. It says, I'm not in favor of construction or widening of 143rd Street because of lack of other means for east-west traffic during the process. This is from Wendy Covelli. I've been using 143rd Street regularly since 1990. During that time, the amount of traffic on the road has increased dramatically due to population growth in the surrounding areas and I-355 extension. I'm a firm believer that the planned expansion is needed for to ensure future, I guess she's not wording it too good. She's in favor of it for the future, for safety of pedestrians and school safety. Our communities are now growing. The area around Reed School needs light to allow safe passage in and out of the parking areas. Traffic is increasing, though, through this artery every year. I support expansion in its walkways and everything on similar to 159th Street. And on that one, what she says is a good opinion, except the schools are against the project. District 92 came and spoke against it. Next, Frank P. Gratchen. I've been on Goody Groves subdivision. My backyard backs up to 143rd Street. I built my home in 2005. Traffic was heavy back then. After moving in March of 2006, the traffic has gotten heavier, louder at times and unbearable. The reason I have moved to Homer Glen was the nature thing. I've lived next to a pond and enjoy wildlife that visits there. At night, you can hear the trucks hitting the bad spot in the road, making loud noises. It's hard enough now to enjoy watching television without a repeated annoying noise. Expanding 143rd eastward from 355 would only make existing noise problems worse. To live with an additional noise from more traffic would be a deal breaker for me. Please don't consider any expansion of 143rd Street east of I-355. This would create more unnecessary noise for the residents and unbearable traffic congestion. It's hard enough to get out on 143rd from Derby Lane as it is from continuing traffic. This one's from Jim Morgan. I'm against the expansion of 143rd Street in or near Homer Glen. This one's from Marilyn Groby. Hello, I have lived in Homer Glen for 37 years, and we live along 143rd Street. There have been a lot of needed changes over the years. to help with the growing population. Some were beneficial for the community and others were not. The expansion of 143rd to 5 lanes is a change that is not needed and will be extremely dangerous for all the families that live along the road. The cars and trucks going 60 miles an hour in our own backyards. The speed cannot be controlled by the police on 159th Street. Is that a testament to that? Is a testament to that. The giant highway doesn't fit or belong on 143rd with homes, schools, churches, and preschool close to the road. Please keep expansion to 2 lanes with a middle turn lane and keep Homer Glen's motto, community, nature, and harmony accurate. This one's from Carol Gwen, I can't say her name, Gwendaryan, Guderyaahn. As long as the residents of Homer Glen and living in the subdivision bordering 143rd Street, we are hoping that you reconsider not expanding the roadway. This roadway is residential from Woolcook to I-355. The last thing we need is increased truck traffic on the road. Please consider this and help our road to remain safer. This one doesn't say a name, but it has an email, and it's Barb, and another name I can't say, Araski. As Homer Glen resident, I'm against the expansion of 143rd Street. Residents moved here for a slower lifestyle. The increased traffic volume will be a detriment to the community and increased safety of the residents. This one's from a gentleman named Brand. Well, he tells me his name now. This is Brand Travovic, residing at 14160 Dublin Court in Homer Glen. I am writing to express my opinion on 143rd Street expansion. I am fully against it. We already have 159th Street expanded, and that brought a lot of traffic already. We don't need more than that. Also, you allowed a lot of new houses, townhomes, to be made in Homer Glen over the past 2 years. That already is bringing more traffic. With this trend, we might be better off to move downtown. Next one is from Gail Egan. She says, I do not want the expansion of 143rd Street. And the next one's from Grant Ostema. Please stop the expansion. Let's not turn this place into Elsip. Next one's from Joseph and Sharon Bregel. We've been residents of Homer Township since 1997 and residents of Homer Glen since inception. We are concerned about the character of Homer Glen changing if you proceed with plans to widen 143rd Street. With almost zero business between Parker and Lamont Road, we see no reason to widen 143rd Street. We hope you decide to cancel the widening. Next one's from Kendall Massey. The residents of Homer Glen have repeatedly been faced with efforts to destroy the peace, calm, and open space that we embrace by living in this village. So often the threat is from outsiders who care little about our quality of life, and it appears again that we must fight against these outside residents. Please vote against the proposed expansion of 143rd Street in Homer Glen. And the last one, it says, is from Marilyn Brady. 143rd Street backs up to my home. I do not, and she got it big giant letters, want the expansion of this road and will contact all neighbors to band together to oppose this. People who do not live here take great joy in making decisions that do not affect their lives. Traffic now is very loud with trucks going to Myers, Home Depot, and Menards. 5-lane expansion would make it worse. You are already expanding 159. You already did expand 159th Street. That is enough. We have 2 grade schools on this road, and we want no more traffic. Taxes are high enough. We promised all these new businesses would ease taxes, and they've done nothing but taxes go up. Now you want taxpayers to foot the bill for more roads, more traffic, more noise, and higher taxes. And that's the last of it. And, you know, I got a comment on the thing. I'm hoping that we get 500 people to show up on January 2nd to complain, because it affects probably close to maybe 1,500 people to 2,000 people, because all the subdivisions that butt up to 143rd Street, like you're hearing in there, they realize what'll happen. They have flag lots. Some of them are 3 and 4 deep. Everybody that comes anywhere near that street's going to have a problem. And it's similar to the Hadley Road thing. And I know what the problem here is, that the road commissioner is going to get $7 million from the federal government. And just like we killed the Green Garden thing because the people are against it, we had one email in favor of the thing, but how many people came at the other meetings? And there's 6 county board members that are affected by this. So it's not like a small deal. So if you go from all the way from I-355 to Will Cook Road up 143rd, every one of them subdivisions connects into 143rd. Every one of them subdivisions has a lot of people in it. That's why I said a big number of people. They're all pissed off like you wouldn't believe. And they're afraid that the county's going to stick it to them. And I tell them they got to show up and complain, because the people on the county board will listen to the residents. And we proved it today with Green Garden. We need to do it again, and I know that probably will upset the road commissioner. Jeff wants to build, because that's what they do. They build roads. But I'm a person that lives there. I butt up to 143rd Street. I'm an older type of person, so I can't even pull out on 143rd Street. I have to go around 3 or 4 blocks to get to a red light so I can sneak out with a light so I don't get in an accident. There's animals that live right along there, like sheep and goats and horses and llamas, and there's like all this other stuff, right? So they have trailers that put their animals in there and they cart them off somewhere to be sold or whatever. They pull out, they can't go east. They can't go because they got to cross too many lanes with their animals, and the animals will fall in the truck, in the trailer. So, but there's a lot of that. It's not like a city. Homer Township is a mixture of rural. We have a lot of farms, a real lot of farms, and we have city. So when you're talking about a place like that, that's why everybody's all up in arms, because they didn't move there to be in a city and have all kinds of cars and traffic and trucks and all this other junk. But anyway, Merry Christmas. God bless all you people, and I hope you eat a lot of good food.
Chair Ogalla. Thank you. I want to start out with some very positive news, and everyone should be very excited about this, that the county board members will be getting new Chromebooks in the beginning of the next year. I know that members have trouble with their iPads. They're old, they're out of, mine won't even do WebEx anymore because it doesn't have the right operating system. So this is a very good and positive thing. Apparently it's hilarious, but I guess not. So I just wanted to say some things here that are very important. That our county board rules say that these public comments will be read into the record, okay? We put that in, what I've heard is we've put that into effect during COVID because we were out in the world of COVID. But our county board rules haven't changed. So until our county board rules change, I think that we should continue to operate as the county board rules said that we should. At our caucus the other evening, we did ask the state's attorney, a member from the state's attorney's office, should they be read into the record? The answer was yes. Today it's not. I don't think other elected officials have the right to come to our county board meeting and make a decision upon themselves. They're here to support the county board. That is their role. They do not have the right to make that change. So until that county board rule gets changed, and if it gets changed, I appreciate members such as Republican Leader Balish to read those additional letters. We have all been elected for one thing, not to get really good health care at a really cheap cost, not to look really cool because you got a name badge on your lapel when you're out in public. We have been elected to represent the people all the time. That's our job. And in representing the people, we need to hear what people have to say. You may not want to do it, you may not want to spend the time, but that's why they put you in office, and that's what you need to do. You should not do something else. It's important, regardless of what district it is, whether it's my district, or Jim Richmond's district, or Sherry Williams' district, or Janet Diaz's district. It doesn't matter. We are all here to do that, and we should support each other in those situations. In addition to that, I would also like to say that it seems to me that since the beginning of the year, there's been a consistent effort to strike out at the county board, our county board ability, responsibilities, and duties by other elected officials. I find that ridiculous, and I do not support that. The state's attorney's office has been asked back to September for public opinion. The reason why on your executive committee, my executive committee agenda, I have public comment written is because for all the years I was on the board before I was chair, we would ask the state's attorney's office for a public opinion, written public opinion. It never came because it would get lost. It wasn't listed anywhere. So have it listed with the date we requested it and then the date we received it. So we can all be aware of it because it is hard to keep track of all these different situations. But since that is the case, that the state's attorney's office, for various different reasons, you know, every department has situations that come up and they're unable to have an employee to do it. State's attorney's office asked for additional dollars because they couldn't hire employees. Pace comes here and says they can't hire employees. We've had trouble. I know the county executive's office had some issue trying to get an employee. Mobility manager position still open. These things happen. But I find it very offensive that we're having a strikeout at the county board. I think it's everyone who's a county board member needs to understand that anytime a responsibility, duty, or issue is taken away from any member of the county board, specifically the chair, that weakens your ability. It's not just because Judy O'Gall is sitting here as a Republican county board chair. Next November, we'll have an election. I don't know who that chair will be. But that person should have all the rights and responsibilities and duties that they had prior to legislation passed during lame duck. In my opinion, I would like to find another elected official's office to help the state's attorney's office in responding to the requests that we've asked, because obviously they can't keep up. This is ridiculous. We have elected officials targeting elected officials. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous during an executive committee meeting that we have members, not of the county board, not of the county board staff, walking on the floor, having private conversations. You're an elected official, you're a board member, you're on my committee, whatever. If you're not even on my committee, I'll allow you to do that. But if you're not part of my committee, you do not have the right to be on my floor. You don't have the right to come and tell somebody where to sit. As Steve Balish, his Republican leader Balish has mentioned to us many times, the state's attorney's opinion is advice. They're here to give us advice. I think that's apprehensible. I would never do that to your office. I know that there have been issues here and there in various offices. I would never do that. I'm disgusted that this continues. I'm sorry that I've had to say this at Christmas because we should all be happy and looking forward to spending a lot of time with family and friends, whether you celebrate Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or whatever you might do. I think we need to get back to doing the business of the county and stop fighting. This isn't Republican against Democrat. This is the county board. We are united front to represent the people. Please remember that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope your words stay true, and for everyone, be merry and bright. I was positive. At this, I need to get a motion to go into executive session. Motion by Freeman. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to go into executive session, discuss pending litigation. So motion by Winfrey, seconded by Mitchell. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Balich. Trainier. Dean Schlottman. Van Dyne. Pretzel. Butler. Newquist. Richmond. Parker. Williams.
Okay, very good. We've had a motion to accept the recommendation of the council. Motion by Winfrey, seconded by O'Gala. Previous roll call by Mueller, seconded by Dean Schlottman. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Hope everyone has a nice holiday. We are recessed to Thursday, January 18th, 2024 at 9:30.